Hello and welcome back to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. My name is Scott, and of course we are here now for a live watch along of WWE United Champions. So whether or not you're watching with us live at the moment, or you're watching on demand because you're catching this as a replay tomorrow, or maybe 5 years from now because you're reminiscing about this PLE, who knows how good it is? We're about to find out. We're going to go right in depth on every single match, accompanying you guys basically with the actual PLE itself, a running commentary. Of course, you know how watch along works. We don't get to do them often on this channel, so it's a real pleasure to be able to do it for you today. And we're going to be back right after this intro.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.
Okay, so as the intro says there, don't miss any of the action. Press that bigger subscribe button. And someone that has already, a Sludge Sports, back here again. Not missing the action, are you, Sludge? You're with me for this Night of Champions watch along. It's going to be a good one. Again, there's so much to kind of talk about here tonight. We've, of course, had our build-up show already. Thank you to our special guests that joined us, as we do for every PLE. We try to get yourself and ourselves in the mood for it. And we had, of course, myself and Dan from this channel, but we also had Sam and Dom from Give Me a Whole Year / WrestleSphere as well. It's been a good day so far, talking wrestling, and the wrestling hasn't even begun, so it can only get better, surely. The big kind of news going into this, of course, seems to be that it's heavily rumored, at least. I don't know if it's actually been confirmed by WWE just yet, but quite big sources have said that opening the show will be the World Heavyweight Championship match. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Rumors that it could be because of, Seth has other commitments. Again, stressing the word rumor there. Don't know if that is true. But as Sludge Sports says here, Cody and Brock should kick off. Is that should because as in you've read the reports as well, Sludge, or should as in you believe it should be the one that opens up as well? I'd be interested to know what you think about that one there. Because, of course, I've been saying the perception of the title already isn't great. So making it open, not ideal. The match itself, a great opener. Get me in the mood for the event. Don't get me wrong, and maybe it is because it feels kind of obvious that Seth will win, and maybe it's not. Sludge Sports says I believe. Okay, so you believe it should be opener. Okay, interesting take there. And as a match, like I say, as an opener, I'm fine for it. I'm fine, but for the title, when we know this is kind of there because they've even said because Roman ain't around all the time. It's a bit of a shame. But anyway, let's not get too negative about it, guys. Let's enjoy it for what it is. And if anything, it might be another chip on that shoulder of Seth Rollins in particular. I think is going to want to really impress with this match. So looking forward to seeing what those two do together. We touched on it a little bit as well on the build-up show. That these two guys, of course, have faced each other before on the indies. And AJ at the time was basically putting him over, saying this guy's the future. So it's a nice, of course, Seth shared that on his a screenshot of that, at least from that match on his Twitter a little while ago. So it's nice seeing, how this has kind of come full circle. Of course, we've got a similar match in Becky and Trish later on, talking about dream matches. A match that could be, wouldn't be out of place in WrestleMania, I think. So going to be nice to kind of be spoiled, really, to have it here on Night of Champions. Daniel Wiley says, hey, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us again, mate. Much appreciated. Always good to hear your take on things and get your comments about what's going on in and around WWE. You'll be aware, you guys, that we don't usually do watch-alongs on this channel, and I fully appreciate you joining us for this. We only really do watch-alongs of Saudi shows because they're at a reasonable time with us being here in the UK. And also watch-alongs for classic PLE. So if you're into this sort of thing, while I can't offer you a watch-along of Monday Night Raw every now and then, what I can offer you is some classic PLEs that we've covered in the past as well. myself and Rob have done, what have we done? Survivor Series 2002 was a fun one. We did ECW One Night Stand. We've done 92 SummerSlam. Of course, we're getting in the mood soon for SummerSlam. It's heating up already, guys. I'm in a vest, boys. It's an interesting time to be a wrestling fan, because we're going into this new kind of chapter. That post-Mania slump is starting to fade away, and we're getting to an exciting period. Of course, that's where it all kicked off, really. This kind of boom period, it feels like we're almost in, when Triple H took over for SummerSlam. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going. Of course, before that, Money in the Bank here in England. I'm very excited about that, of course, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you a lot of content around that as well. But if you're new here, if you're here for the first time, you've been here a few times before, just to let you know, my name is Scott. I am here from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. We do a lot of things, not just watch-alongs and cover PLEs, but we also interview your favorite WWE superstars, such as Finn Balor. We've had a great chat with before. We had a fantastic chat with Rhea Ripley, and many other WWE superstars. The current Raw Women's Champion in Bianca Belair, and I'm a big fan of Bianca Belair, big fan of her breaking records, but I also think her time is up, and it could be the time that we see the reign end with Asuka. Of course, we'll get onto that later on. Daniel Wiley says, did you see Jimmy Uso last night on SmackDown face-to-face with Roman? I think the Usos will cost Roman and Solos the title tonight. Daniel, I did see it. It was a fantastic little segment. I was on the Gimme a Whole Year stream last night with those boys covering SmackDown. Again, I don't usually do watch-alongs. It's a rare thing for me. Now I've done 2 in 2 days. But I was on SmackDown for them last night. Here today for you guys on our channel. And I'm with you, Daniel. I think they're going to cost Solo and Roman Reigns. Whether or not it's intentional, I don't know. I got a feeling that they might make it seem unintentional, and then in the end the Usos are going to say we meant that, that kind of thing. So it'd be interesting to see where it goes, but nice to see we're on the same page there, Daniel, as far as surely the Usos have got to do something tonight. The other way around it, of course, is giving the titles to Roman. And I don't know if you guys saw our preview and predictions episode we did a little while ago, but I was saying on that, I don't think giving Roman 4 titles, as much as it's a meme at the moment, it's funny seeing those photoshopped images go around. We've got a not even need for Photoshop when he lifted them up on SmackDown, of course. It's I think it's the wrong time to give him all the titles, seeing that we've just created a title because of that same problem. I think a few months ago, I probably would have been okay with it if circumstances aligned. But yeah, at the moment, I hope he doesn't do it tonight. Unless it goes somewhere even better that I can't even imagine at the moment. We had Sam earlier from Gimme a Whole Year and WrestleSphere Fantasy booking that. So if you haven't already, if you weren't with us for the build-up show, I'd encourage you to check that out. I know a lot of people join us to get themselves hyped up, but we do go quite in depth. That stream is about 2.5, nearly 3 hours long on all the goings on, fantasy booking, AEW, WWE. We talked all about it. So if you haven't already, definitely check that out after you've enjoyed Night of Champions, hopefully tonight with us as well. So still on the kickoff show at the moment. Excuse me, I had a little burp there. I had to rush down a packet of crisps in my little break between doing the build-up show and the watch-along. And the fun doesn't stop, guys. After the show tonight, we're going to be going straight in from the watch-along to our instant reaction, and hopefully we're going to have some guests on that as well, where we're going to be reacting to everything we see here. But this is it doesn't get more instant than in the moment. Of course, that's what the watch along is for. But then the instant reaction, as soon as the show wraps up, will be over there on that stream as well. Of course, we usually do our recap and reviews a day removed, and they are quite different streams because in the heat in a moment, you say things and stuff like that. And it'll be interesting to see what I come out with tonight, of course, watching this with you guys as well. But yeah, at the moment, we've got the kickoff show is just wrapping up. In studio kickoff show. Frustrating for me, guys. I think I've said this a few times on this channel. I love it, especially at Mania when they're in front of the fans and stuff like that. And I like it when we get some matches on the kickoff show. It's been a real shame not to get that. But we've kind of filled the gap, I would think, because our build-up show is, again, getting yourself and ourselves hyped up like the WWE do, but we're an alternative to that as well. Got a lot riding on this event, guys. My predictions are locked in. I'll run through them as we go through each of the matches, and I'll let you know kind of what we thought if you did miss our prediction show. But as you can see, I'm at the top of the table, guys. I'm looking to reclaim my title from a few years ago. This was a trophy I got. I'm hoping to walk away with another one. We do our predictions seasonally. We do it WrestleMania to WrestleMania. So that's why there's not many points on that board just yet. We've done Backlash, and I came out on top, and I'm looking forward to a good run here at Night of Champions. Just as the graphics start to play, for the build into Night of Champions itself. Of course, watching along at the moment, myself here in the UK on the WWE Network. Whether you're watching around the world, whether it be on Peacock or you're lucky enough, like us in the UK, to still have the network, I hope you enjoy this show as well. So, let me know what you think is going to happen tonight. Chat along with me, guys. As you can see, it's just me at the moment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the show as we go through it. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate every one of you that supports us, whether you're watching in the background or you're jumping in the comments like Daniel and Flood Sports. We really do appreciate you as well. So here we go. Promo package. I always love the opening promo packages. So I won't even talk too much here because I love taking them in. I find them so well produced. As someone working in the media, of course, I'm doing a bit of editing myself. WWE have been inspiration for that. You know, go back to one of the most famous podcasts, something we all know which one we're talking about, but masterclass in editing. Nice opener here as well. Triple H speaking there. So now, of course, hyping up the tag title match, which if reports are true, this will be going on last as the official headliner. But now we're talking about the rest of the titles. Of course, night champions traditionally would have been title matches, not tonight, unfortunately. They've moved away from it. And now, of course, talking about the world title as well. Rock, I think tonight is going to be on a mad one, as they say. It's not looking good for Cody. Okay, so I think I might be having a bit of mic trouble here, guys. Apologies for that if it is a bit muffled. Just trying to make sure we're all good. Yeah, hopefully it's all good. You can hear me loud and clear. Well, what matches are you most looking forward to, guys? Let me know in the comments. Again, looks like we're opening with a world title. Being told the mic's better now, so thanks for that. My partner in crime letting me know behind the scenes. All right, here we go. Nice opening promo package. Getting into the first match. Again, if reports are to be believed, it is the world title. Time for me to have my first mega beer to celebrate. They're not the only ones lifting gold tonight. All right, let's have a look at the venue itself. Looking good there in Jeddah. Beautiful. Look at that wide shot. It looks incredible, doesn't it? Jeddah Superdome. How many people we got here? Okay, he hasn't said the number there. Capacity crowd expected. And remember, this was supposed to be King of the Ring / Queen of the Ring. So a real shame they got rid of that, in my opinion. I hope they find a way to go back to it in the end. Yeah, so here we go. Michael Cole now kind of bigging up the design. I do like some of the features they've added here. The Lions and the Man Family crest, as he mentioned, the winged eagle from the Winged Eagle, because its shape is reminiscent of the old big gold. Triple main event, they say. Of course, we know one's really the main event. Let's see what it ends up being. I reckon it is the Bloodline match. As much as that is a big story, 9 times out of 10 deserves to go on last. When you crown new champion and it's supposed to be a top tier title. But again, we don't know for sure yet. Now we know for sure. AJ Styles' music is hit and he's making his way to the ring. Look, I'm looking forward to the match itself. And maybe it's true. Maybe Seth has other commitments or something else is going on behind the scenes and someone needs to get out of there, whatever else. But if it's not that, and they've just straight up booked it like this, a disappointment. But I think the fire will be in both these guys' belly, regardless if that is true. We all know what this is. This is a crowning moment of a new title. As much as we are calling it a consolation prize, it is a new heavyweight title, new somewhat. And this is going to go down in history, like Seth versus Finn did. Got to say, I'm loving the stage. This feels like New Japan. That stage looks like I'm watching Wrestle Kingdom or something like that. I love it. Especially with AJ coming down the ramp. Building up that this could be AJ's last opportunity. So I'm looking forward to this match. Really looking forward to this match. Again, keep going over my kind of fears about it being on first. But I think as a match goes, take the title away from it, these guys get you in the mood for the show. And they, as Dan said on a build-up show, are the kind of guys to go back there, go, follow that, you know, and it will be hard to do. But we got some big contenders on this card. So I'm really looking forward to it. There was a time where these were glorified house shows out in Saudi, not anymore. See, they're really big. Again, presentation on TV, fantastic. They have put this title over well. The tournament was great. The finalists are great. But, you know, they've got to be aware of the perception. I mean, they're trying their best for so much of this. They've done a good job of it. But anyway, it'd be interesting to know what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Does this feel as important as it should or not? And I think it's got to be Seth as well. I think Seth has been, I would say, an unsung hero. Not really. I think we all know how good he's been in the past year or so. It's time to crown him. It is. AJ, maybe someday again the champ. I don't know. But then again, either name. You give me either name in the history books and you go, they won it first. 10 years, 15, 20 years from now, people are going to go, cool, like deserving, good champion, or, great wrestler, great career. What a person to solidify its importance, Hopefully, anyway, solidify its importance. Strange that a lot of people comparing this to an Intercontinental US title at the moment. But it's got its own legacy to forge out now, even if it does technically continue the legacy of the World Heavyweight. Here we go. Burn it down. I'm sure the fans there in Saudi Arabia are going to be cheering on the theme song, as I'm sure you guys are at home. There we go. What is that he's wearing? I mean, you could say that anytime Seth comes onto our screens, right? Wow. That looks like, it reminds me of, I don't know what. Tiger Mask, maybe? Tiger King? I think it's a cheetah, though, to be fair. Or a leopard. Not good with big cats, apparently. What I am pretty good at is Seth Rollins fashion overall. And if you haven't already seen it, guys, there's a video on this channel where I got some of Seth Rollins' suits and tried them on. Not his actual suits that he wore, but they're same ones, in my own size. and trial them. So if you fancy more Seth Rollins fashion speak, check it out on this channel. I did that video about a year and a half ago now, maybe 2 years ago. But appreciate everyone that's been with us on the journey so far on this channel. Not long ago, we reached 500 subscribers. We're zooming past that now on our way to 1,000 as well. Really do appreciate it. If you could join us by helping us get to that goal, we'd love you eternally for it. So and thank you for everyone that's done it so far. Every single one of you mean an incredible amount to us and the rest of the team here. So thanks again. Anyway, back to the kind of reason why we're here. As much as I have a love fest about you guys joining us, it's all about the show we're actually talking about, of course. And again, I'm looking forward to this match. I want to sing now. It's a bit weird to sit here kind of... can't help it though, can you? And neither can the fans as the music stops. How long will this last? What I liked at WrestleMania, I don't know if you saw our review of WrestleMania. No, of Backlash, I think. Wait, when was it? Backlash, that was it, because it was a build that made no sense. But almost attacking Seth during that, I thought was really cool. Nice little heel move. Almost no match tonight. There's a lot of people on this card. Well, missing from this card, I should say. Big fight feel, as they say. Always nice to get this little introduction for a world title match. Ooh, big love for AJ there. So, of course, we're starting out with a big match here, guys. Seth Rollins, AJ Styles. But I want to know what other match you're looking forward to. So let us know in the comments if you're joining live with us. Beyond this, I think Mustafa Ali and Gunther is a really intriguing one for me. I think the winner is obvious for that one, but I want them to make me believe, and I'm looking forward to being taken on that journey. Hopefully that will be the case. Well, right now, of course, fans sing along as you expect to Seth Rollins, his theme song. Here we go. Wow. So a fact there by Michael Cole. First time in 4 years he's had a one-on-one title match. Or world title might have been, but... Oh, and Seth beat him at the last one. Look at that. Nice bit of continuation there. Fans are really behind AJ here. I think it's easy to kind of brush AJ aside. I think I've done it. I've been guilty of it, for this match. I love AJ. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But it just feels right for Seth at the moment, But I wouldn't be furious if AJ won. Because any other time in those 4 years since what I just mentioned, if you said to me AJ's going to win the title, I'd be like, yep, do it. So it's weird to kind of at this moment being like, nah, give it to Seth. But Seth's been so great, hasn't he? All right, slow start to the match here because they're really kind of soaking up the atmosphere. AJ don't want any of it, though. Jump straight after. No more slow start there. Boom, straight in. Almost heelish there from Seth to be the one to be taking that. But, of course, they're both pretty much babyface at the moment. So that's another interesting point to this as well. Another kind of interesting piece of the, kind of story to tell and the dynamic, really. See there, touching on this movie thing on commentary. That's why I think this whole thing, I think it's a leak they've done on purpose. This whole, they're not sure about Seth in the future. I think that was to kind of make us believe that Seth might not do it. Maybe he won't do it, and I'm wrong, but I don't buy it. I think Seth is the kind of person you want to wreck up as with your title. I said it earlier on the build-up. I said it earlier in the week on a prediction show. Yeah. Ooh, Big kick from running knee out there on the outside to AJ. Don't really know how long I expect this match to go either. I mean, we're quarter past, obviously, but we had a bit of a slow start to the match itself. It's only just kicked off 2-3 minutes ago, but you'd expect this to be a long one. You know, this is one of those matches where, you know, you're like, match of the night, maybe match of the year. Do you know what I mean? When you have these kind of guys in there for, you know, a title, a new title, sort of. That's it. Just 2 times AJ's held the title. It's crazy. I guess he's not been Universal then, just WWE. It will be interesting to see where the dynamic goes between the two as far as a face-face kind of situation here as well. Someone going to take on the role, or is it just going to be, you know, a classic where they don't need to do the heel-face dynamic? Again, fantastic setup there. Visually, this is a great looking arena. That stage is great as well. As I said earlier, reminds me of something from New Japan, really. Oof. Oh. Throws AJ into the turnbuckle quite low down there. Seth doesn't look like a babyface here, though. I mean, the fans are treating him like it, though. Look at them in the audience conducting. Yeah, as Michael Cole kind of mentions there, a real connection between those guys. You know, Seth looking up to AJ, really, you could say. That match, as mentioned earlier on the Indies, where AJ kind of co-signs him and you know, as they say, and kind of puts him over. And it's very small venue. You know, a far cry from what we're experiencing with these two guys here. Which is always a beautiful story. And again, we got another one in Becky and Trish later on, which I'm looking forward to as well. Decent card here. Oh, okay. Suplex into the turnbuckle. Always like when you see moves like that. Kind of risky, don't get me wrong, but I always like when they use the ring in different ways. Very nice. We're getting a little bit of a "this is awesome" chant there, and while I really enjoyed that spot, we're not quite there yet, guys. I think if I was in that crowd, I'd be giving a few side eyes. Calm down. Let the match breathe. Let's call it awesome when it reaches that climax. I feel like we will, though. I feel like we will. Picking up. Lovely combinations there from AJ. Running forearm there. Here we go. AJ up. Rollins gets out of it. Oh. That's a very kind of rough looking. I don't even know what that move was. Anyone know what that was called? It was like a wheelbarrow slam. I don't know. I feel like that's the kind of thing I would have called it. This one could be over, says Corey. Come on, mate. I know you're just doing your job, but be realistic. Come on. Well, AJ's making it look like it is. Signal, of course, for the Styles Clash, but Seth's fought his way out of it. Elbow to the face. Oh, I love that. The moonsault into the reverse DDT. Beautiful move. Quite often does it off the ropes, of course. This time straight off the turnbuckle. Again, just reminds me of why I love AJ. And I liked in the promo for this as well. They showed some pictures and magazines of AJ really young. Amazing. Amazing talent. Still amazing that he's been in WWE, you know what I mean? And I'm saying he could become the first ever WWE first of this version World Heavyweight Champ as well. And there was a time where I thought that ship had sailed, and here he is, like, incredible WWE career. So deserving as well. Seth Rollins as well. Hasn't had a bad run in the Fed himself. Fantastic performer. Oh, pin, not quite. Lifts him up. What are we getting? Buckle bomb, maybe? Oh, I always... So, again, I love them using the ring like that. That suplex earlier reminded me of the buckle bomb. I was going to mention it. But, you know, the injury for Sting and the injury to Balor are always kind of course, that one on the outside makes me... Okay, Frog Splash was never going to be a free count, but I had to kind of make sure. But yeah, it always makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. But that's it. High risk, high reward, as they say. Not just in legitimacy of, like, in the competition. Of course, it's choreographed, but high risk, high reward in the sense that you're making these memorable moments as well. So got these people putting their, you know, their lives in each other's hands, you know. So always got to admire the hard work that goes into this. Fantastic wide shot again. That light, though, going across it, I think that might get a bit annoying for the fans. Then if you guys remember WrestleMania 35, I was at that side when everyone was chanting turn the light off because it was in everyone's face. I think in the Randy Orton match. Oh. Neck breaker. Well, he's calling it a neck breaker, Cole, but I don't know if it was neck breaker. Nice little move, regardless. But yeah, back at WrestleMania 35 when you couldn't see the ring because of those lights. I think those lights there might get a little bit annoying to those fans, but visually on TV looks great to me. Look at them. It's fantastic shots again. WWE know how to kind of hype themselves up, don't they? And why not? Get the wide shots. Here we go, setting up for the pedigree. All right, so I'm being told behind the scenes we're going to get Lucas join us in a bit. That'd be great. But most of all, thank you guys for joining us, whether it's live or on demand. Styles Clash from the top. Are we getting there? No. Hurricane Rana. Appreciate you guys watching this with me. Few NWO shirts in the crowd there, repping. They're the black and white. Of course, I'm repping the red and black today. But it's all love. It's all love. We're all NWO. AJ taking a bit of time there. Seth runs up. Always impressive, isn't it, when they do stuff like that? Holding on a bit longer than expected there. Looks like... Oh, that looked like a real... Oh, this is a bit uncomfortable viewing. Something about Styles doesn't seem right there. I feel like they pulled it off. Don't get me wrong, but you could see Styles was struggling to kind of get in position for that. Seth runs up there, gets it set up, does the move. They pull it off. Not as smoothly as you'd like. And then they roll through clearly to do another one. Again, didn't go as smoothly as you like. They pulled it off. Looks like everyone's safe. But that was a little bit of an uncomfortable moment there for AJ there. But anyway, talking of uncomfortable, look at the state of Seth's back already. I don't know what it was there about AJ. Couldn't quite get a position. Maybe he's feeling a bit sluggish. Didn't quite have that kind of smoothness you would imagine from these guys, but it weren't terrible. All right, Seth going up. He's going to do one of those corkscrew type. What's it called? I always forgot what this is called now. Dragon screw or woo on his feet. Styles has been a bit slow. It could be selling, but Styles is a little bit slow at the moment. Oof. Headbutt. Rollins looking a bit out of his bit dazed there. I don't know if this is selling. We'll see from Styles. He might have a big burst of energy in a moment. All right, they're on the apron. Oh my gosh. Heart in the mouth type situation, that, isn't it? A bit of a release suplex, neck on the back of the hardest part of the ring, as they say. Seeing the replay here. Oh, scary. His head was, tucks in time, but getting a chill just thinking about that going wrong. But again, these are the things that these people put on the line for our entertainment, guys. It's no joke out there. Anything could go wrong in an instant, so we're lucky to see what these performers are able to do. Styles now building momentum, jumping up top rope. No! Went to do the springboard, gets cut out by Seth. I think his face hit off the top rope as he fell. Suicide dive to the outside. Bit of a breather. No. Seth holding on to his knee. Looks like his storyline, though. I'm not sure if AJ's face did here. It was quite slow down the thing. Is this a legit knee? No. Unless it was his knee's gone funny because his foot kind of tweaked it by landing awkwardly. But his knee didn't hit the mat in that much of a strange way. So I imagine this is hyping up a bit of storyline here. Both make it in the ring at the same time. Rolling through. We getting a calf cutter here? Calf crusher? Not cutter. Yeah, so there we go. A bit of a storyline focus now on the knee, which makes me feel like Rollins going to win now. This is the heroic thing to pull for an injury. We've got an injury storyline later on. Do we really need that here? But I don't think that one's winning later on, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Of course, we touched on it earlier on with a build-up show. Again, thank you to everyone that joined us live there and back with us here. And if you've only just joined us here, my name is Scott from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. You are here for our watch-along. Thank you for choosing us to kind of enjoy this show together with, whether it is on demand in the future or live at the moment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the PLE overall. And what we're seeing right here with AJ versus Seth. Oh, big clothesline. Bit of a breather for the guys here. Now they're showing this dive again. I think the left is the one. Okay. His foot. Is it the left? Yeah, it's the left, even though Corey just called it his right. His foot lands and his leg wobbles a bit, which you could understand, pulls a bit, let's say it's your arm and you land funny on your hand, your elbow kind of gets a bit funny because of it. Essentially, that is the tweak that could be going on here with Seth, but I think it is storyline based. I mean, they went straight into the calf crusher, didn't they? So it'd be a risky move to do if it was legit. All right. We're about to get into a bit of a blow for blow here. Who's coming out on top of this one? Seth leaning into the ref there. Ref making his way out of harm's way. You don't want to be there at all. Oh, firing up now with AJ slapping the taste out of Seth's mouth. Kick to the leg. Seth ain't having any of it though. Kicks to the face. Oh, misses that one. This feels like the right kind of time to set into a stomp, doesn't it? Oh, no. Inzaguri. Love the Inzaguri. Went for the Pele. Not quite. Super chick. Super kick. Not super chick. Oh! What the hell was that? What was that? Did he stomp the hand as Cole called it? What the heck was that? It was like AJ weren't ready for the spot. Didn't hit the pedigree. Didn't hit the Scars Crash. Hits the Pele. Now we get the start. No, he's going for the pedigree. Oh! AJ hits the pedigree. Nah. I weren't sold, but it seems like the fans in Jeddah were caught up in a moment. AJ got a bit of red coming out of his forehead there. Yeah, they're building this up as AJ's last opportunity. I think he spoke about when he signed the last contract. This is his last one, but last big contract or something like that. Yeah, I hope AJ does get another shot at the title. Now there's two as well. I hope he does become champion again before he kind of bows out of WWE and probably goes elsewhere. And it'd be strange for him to not do something in AEW. I know this ain't an AEW stream, but it would be a little bit odd. If you are watching live or before this show takes place, join us for the Double or Nothing build-up show as well. We're going to be here covering AEW tomorrow as well. But of course, this is all about Night Champions and the WWE at the moment. But we've got to plug the rest of our content here on the channel. I'm sure you appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Big forearm there from AJ. About to springboard off the top, but I feel like this is going to be countered. And it is with a beautiful super kick. Rollins now waiting for him to get up. Are we getting a stomp? Goes. Oh, his knee. Okay. The knee buckled. I wonder if that was a spot they were going to do earlier on with that weird stomp. Maybe not. But it was weird, wasn't it? Okay, goes for the calf crusher. Doesn't quite do it. Seth pulls him through to do the pedigree, which of course is going to hurt his knee, as you see right there. And he's now going to go for a stomp. Can he do it this time? Oh, okay. This could be it. We could be seeing history made right here, everyone. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And your new World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Freakin Rollins. Right, cool. Feels good, guys. We're seeing history made. I don't want to be putting a downer on this amazing moment, but we all know that this title has been made under strange circumstances. And let's hope this is the beginning of it being used in the right way. I'm not sure if putting it on first kind of shows that, but Triple H coming out with the title. Seth's face there. Of course, a bit of history between these two. I mean, he used the pedigree a moment ago. Here we go. Yeah, nice. Seth, first of NXT champions, I just mentioned. He was in the first title match for the NXT for the Universal. Doesn't win that, of course. Now, I'm always wary when you see Triple H congratulating someone that it could turn into a pedigree. I mean, we've seen that with Seth, right? When he got Kevin Owens to go after him. It's never over till it's over with Triple H, isn't it? Until he gets out of the ring, you're like, he might do something. That's a cerebral assassin kind of shining through there forever. All right, here you go. Makes his way. Seth, enjoy your moment now, mate. Deserve it. As much as this title, again, we're not quite sure how it's going to be. But going forward, the fact is, if Roman weren't doing what he was doing this year, you would have been probably champ a few times. Not this year, past few years. You would have been champion a few times, I feel like. So incredible work from Seth and finally getting a reward. Strange they've had to make a new reward for him to get it. But a nice moment either way. Great opening match for the show. Fireworks here as well. Should be the moment we're closing the show on, in my opinion. But again, we've touched on that quite a few times already. But yeah, new champion either way. What's going on in the background there? Did you see that? In the audience, people were running and people were looking back and the camera for some reason focused on it. That was a bit odd. Now, I've got to say, great match. It might end up being match of the night. It won't be match of the year. I said earlier on it could be match of the year. That's not a diss. I'm not trying to diss the match or anything like that. But you put guys in there like this, it could have been wow. And it was a really good match. Happy with what I've seen. But I did say in the build-up show, are we getting match of the year contender? It wasn't, but it was a great match. Great moment here as well. Right, so be interested to see what comes up next. Daniel says, I think Ali beats Gunther. Wow. Big call there, Daniel. Can't wait to watch that match because I think they're going to make us believe. I hope they do. I think they're going to make us believe. In my eyes, there's no way Ali beats Gunther. But I want to, excuse me, I want to believe, you know what I mean? So looking forward to it. And I think when we get to that, I hope I'm going to be watching it thinking of your comment, thinking, I think Daniel's right. But ultimately, I think Gunther should win it because I think this isn't the time for him to lose it. He'll move on to the main titles eventually, and so he should. But I want to see this Gunther thing continue for now. All right. Seth holding up the title. Nice image there. Strange, it's the first thing on the show again. I don't know how many times I can say that, but guys, what did you think of the match? Did you enjoy it? I thought it was a good match. Let me know in the comments whether you're watching live or on demand. It'd be lovely to hear what you think about Night of Champions so far. What you think is coming up next? While the ads are on here, maybe a good time for me to let you know about some of the things going on our channel. As I said earlier on, we'll have a build-up show for Double or Nothing tomorrow. After this stream, we're going to have an instant reaction as well. So I'd appreciate if you join us for that. We're seeing an advert right now, I assume, for Money in the Bank. Here we go. New ad. This looks different. All right, I'm interested. Showing off London, of course, and now we see the wrestlers and interesting who they're showing in this, you know? Because you see Omos there, see Finn, see the O2 Arena. Oh, they make it seem like James Bond. He had a theme song. What? Wow, okay. At least they're not going down the royal route, which every event that comes here tends to do. I mean, they kind of did it at Clash, didn't they, with the castle. Cody Rhodes' arm's broken, apparently. We'll talk more about that later on. But yeah, Money in the Bank, looking forward to it in London. Hoping to be there and cover it as much as we can for you guys as well. Of course, I mentioned Clash there. We did cover that in depth. When they were over here for that, we spoke to Butch. We spoke to Liv Morgan. We spoke to Damian Priest. Who else did we talk to? Finn Balor, of course. We just saw in the ad there. Imperium. We'll see Gunther later on. A chat with the Street Profits. Oh my goodness, just as they showed up on screen. How about that? And also a great conversation with Rhea Ripley. If you haven't seen those interviews yet, guys, go back and check those out. We've got more interviews on the channel already and interviews on our old, well, I say old, but the main Rebellious Noise channel before we split into this wrestling focus channel. So if you want to see more of us, you can see us on this channel. We have a football channel. We have a food channel. We have a music channel, a film and TV channel. I've said channel a lot there. Then we've got a main channel, which basically covers all of it and as a kind of archive for the Rebellious Noise content over the years as well. Now we're seeing a promo here for Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, so I assume that's the match we're getting next. Another dream match, another match where you could say, you know, Becky Lynch grew up thinking about the day she might face Trish Stratus, and this is going to be a good one, guys. I'm looking forward to this. Finally, we have a match in the women's division that's not for a title as well. So I just had a message come through from Dan, course of the channel, just not on the stream at the moment, but was with us on the build up, and we were talking about the lineup. He's just texted me saying, you know, Becky's on straight after Seth. It looks like it is about Seth having to leave early. So yeah, that could be the case. What we're seeing here, though, is of course Trish in the promo get to flex her muscles as far as on the mic. You know, I know a lot of people have dissed some of it, and I think it's been unfair. I think she's playing a good heel. I think she was always a good heel. Back in the day, one of the best heels. When she turned on Jericho at WrestleMania with Christian, like, I was so angry. Like, you know, she was, you know, it was, she's great at it. Coming as a heel with Testa and Albert, of course. But anyway, yeah, doing a good job here as well, I think, in just being that legend in a different way. We constantly get, they're back to take part again. Oh, we all remember you. No, like Trish is here to kind of be like, no. I still got something to show. You know, I'm still better than all you. I'm not doing that nostalgia act anymore, you know? So good, man. This is a good way to do this feud. And again, a great thing for Becky Lynch or Rebecca Quinn as a person, you know? And they played into it well. Like, they've done it in different eras, you know, like Becky talking about, you know, how she's had the career Trish could dream of. And that's true for all of those Attitude Era women and Ruthless Aggression women. But that's because those positions weren't there. So I love there's an element of truth in both sides of this, for the babyface and for the heel. So yeah, interesting match order. As Dan said, it could be something to do with them having to leave. But so far, the report we saw earlier on got 2 out of 2 correct as far as the match order. A little CGI bird landed on the Falcon, apparently. Landed on the stadium. Why not? Here we go. You know what I would have liked is if Trish used her first or second theme song as a heel. Because interesting to see what the women are wearing in this as well, for obvious reasons where they are. I think it's been well handled with some of these costumes have been able to kind of make sense. Some of them have looked a bit strange. Just this one there kind of makes sense. And you got to remember, Becky did wear that kind of Kill Bill outfit before. So she could just do that again, couldn't she? Getting a lot of boos here. They sound piped in, though. Am I hearing that right? Yeah, they're piped in. But then they're showing people boo. I mean, I'm sure people are booing, but it doesn't sound legitimate. Guys watching, if you've got me and them on volume, let me know what do you think. Does that sound legitimate? Thank you, Trish, on the back of her top. That's great. Here we go. Becky Lynch on her way to the ring in yellow from afar. So it might be that Kill Bill looking outfit. Oh, yeah, she's gone back to using the man now. Like, the whole big time Bex thing is over. Okay, right. So now Michael Cole's saying that Becky says she never idolized Trish. It was Lita. Which, yeah, that's been shown a lot as well. Don't get me wrong. That was nice to see them work together, of course. Corey says Trish walked, so Becky could run. That's definitely true. A big match here as far as looking at the landscape of women's wrestling and its evolution over the years. I say they got rid of big time Bex. Have just used the big old graphic there. Um, but yeah, great. As me and Don were talking about on the build up earlier on as well. Great for the progress of women's wrestling to see something like this. Not only a grudge match where it's not about a title. Um, Someone like Trish getting another chance to play a different kind of character, not just this typical "I'm back to kind of get my shot here." But like, could you imagine in 2001, 2002, 2003, saying that to Trish that she'd be wrestling in Saudi Arabia and women's wrestling would be where it is today, um, 20 years later. So gotta appreciate that. We've got 3 women's matches tonight as well. It's gonna be a good card. Yeah, so they're really kind of highlighting that this is kind of a dream match, of course. Never thought it would happen. Oof, big old punch from Becky. But I do think this has got legs in it to go further, But our predictions are kind of all over the place. I thought this was a really hard one to pick because what did I go for? I went for Trish. But the other guys on the channel, Dan, Lucas, and Rob, they all went for Becky Lynch. And I think the thinking is Becky's the today. You know what I mean? So if this was a one off at WrestleMania and it was blowing off here, I would go with the same. But I feel like this might be going on a bit further to SummerSlam, unless Trish has another program or goes away and you put Becky into a title match. And I'm saying here how much I love just seeing these women go at it with a storyline without a title. And I think shoving Becky straight into a title scenario won't be the way to do it for me. So I hope this does prolong, and I hope we see Trish win that tonight to do that. Because usually, again, you come back as the legend to put over the new person, but she's been back for a while, and this ain't WrestleMania. This is built since January. I'd be saying, and it was WrestleMania. I'd be saying Becky needs to win. So Trish in control here with kind of heelish tactics. It's mad, isn't it? As Corey said, these people in the Hall of Fame, and they come back and they have these incredible second careers. Like when she first come back, it was like, wow, Trish is back. First few times, and now it's like this is a run. Like even Lita last year was it when she faced Becky, and amazing. And then we're getting the same for Edge. You know what I mean? Others going over to AEW. Christian Cage, same situation there. It is great to be able to see like when you look at this match graphic again, just seeing Trish, Becky Lynch, an actual match together. Like we're lucky. They're lucky, both of them, to be in this position as well. Just don't feel so lucky now, though. Oh, Tornado DDT a little bit not sloppy, but not as refined as you'd imagine. The audio is odd to me. It feels like they are playing something in the background. This is the thing, they're talking about Trish being the greatest, And as I mentioned on the build up and some of our other streams this past week, Trish needs to be here today to get some of this kind of cake. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of times they brought these women back to be in the Royal Rumbles because they never got to experience it in their era. But it's still a lot for these people to do. So this second run it makes a lot of sense that these performers would want to do this, would want to come back because they've got opportunities they never ever had before. She was the best in her era. She's never had the opportunity to go out there and do Sasha Banks versus Bailey at Brooklyn, NXT Takeover. She's never had the opportunity to do that. She's never had the opportunity to be in the first ever Hell in a Cell. She's never had the opportunity to try all these different match types. So it makes sense for me to bring her back for a prolonged run if she can still go. And by the looks of this match, she can. So 2 good matches so far. I think this one started out quite well. It'd be interesting to know what other matches you're looking forward to tonight as well. I say tonight is barely into the evening for us here in the UK, which I'm very pleased about watching this at a reasonable time. Neck breaker there, didn't quite fully connect. Wow, 4 years since she's been on one-on-one, says Cole. And that's the thing as well. You bring people back, and they tend to get in tag matches to kind of get by. And this is a big deal for Trish. That's a good point. You still got a chant for Trish there? Be interesting, thinking about the women. If this was King Queen of the Ring, who would have won Queen of the Ring? Interesting that Lita's kind of gone away as well. I mean, she was the champion a little while ago, so is she coming back into this feud at some point? I mean, imagine one more big Trish and Lita match. Even if that's where we go with SummerSlam with Trish, that'd be cool. Slugging away now, wide shots. Becky getting the control, it seems. Trish reverse. Becky hits her. Trish conveniently falls into the corner for the next spot. Here we go. Forearm. Fans massively behind Becky at the moment. Is this Exploder? Nice. Feels like we're getting towards the beginning of the end, which I feel like the momentum is definitely, of course, in Becky's hands, which makes me think there's going to be a quick turn of something momentum-wise. And I think Trish might be getting a win here. I hope I'm right. I want that point in the leaderboard. Little guillotine leg drop there from the top rope. Through the ropes. Not quite. That's a strange kick out. Trish just rolls out the ring. Baseball slide. I think what's good about this as well is the positioning on the card. It could. This whole rumor that Seth needs to leave early and maybe Becky's going to go with him is one thing, but also, as much as I'm happy to see a grudge match and it not be for a title, we have 2 title matches, so this should go on before. As much as this is a huge marquee match, it's not for a title, so the title should get the bigger slots, and they're getting that later on. So that's good to see. Spine on the pine from Trish. Doesn't get the full 3 count. Getting quite scrappy now on the floor with each other. Don't know if you heard Corey Graves there with that little snide comment about Twitter. I paid $11 for a blue check mark. That makes me a journalist. I'm sure taking aim at certain people. Speaking of Twitter, if you'd like to follow us over there without the blue tick, brother, we ain't paying for that. Follow us at RM Pro Wrestling. That's where you'll find us on Twitter. That's where you find us on Instagram. We've gone for the attempt for the Hurricane Runner type thing that Trish does. Good of Corey there to kind of really emphasize the difficulty of what Trish was trying to do there. Of course, her feet didn't align like it usually would around, Becky's neck for the move, but she ran away, and Corey's kind of hyped that up in itself as a positive, even though it was technically a bit of a blunder that she worked around. Always nice when the commentators cover like that, and it doesn't seem completely out of realism, out of the realm of realism. Okay, little sloppy looking there. After saying that, Becky's gone for a leg drop. Only a 2, surely. Yeah, could it be much more than that? Yeah, a lot of Becky chance there. Stratus looking to finish it. This match has got to come to a conclusion soon. You don't want to lose the crowd. It's been a decent match so far. Oh, okay. Elevated Boston Crab from the top rope there down to the center of the ring. They got a Y2J chant there. Of course, quite similar to the Walls of Jericho. I think we're going to get a sneaky tactic here from Trish, surely. Catches her with a kick. Surely we've got to start wrapping up the match here with a kind of an injustice, I feel, against Becky. Trish doing some sort of heelish tactic or veteran kind of move. Do you know what I mean? Taking advantage. But Becky in the ring on 9. Chick kick. 1, 2. Kick out. Okay. Not enough. So what's she got to do? Stratisfaction? Nice connection. Nice sell by Becky. Bit of trash talking, which I think is probably direction covered up. Oh, a slap to the face. No, held on too long because Becky's now got her arm. Disarmer. Oh, she pulling her hair. This is it. This is the tactics I was talking about. Here we go. Get a win, Trish. Go on. Go on, Trish. I want that point. It is getting ugly, isn't it? They're pulling each other's hair. Maybe not. Oh, ducks the chick kick. Roller up. 2. Don't do it. Oh, rolls through. Ref kind of caught up in that. I know the slap, but she's on the ropes. You better grab that rope. You better grab that rope. That's it. Put that foot in that rope. Anyone think I don't like Becky Lynch? It's not. It's just there's points on the line, everyone. Look at me sitting nicely at the top of the table. I want that to continue. We're only one PLE in. This is our second, of course, for the season. We go WrestleMania to WrestleMania. And as you can see, the other guys sadly couldn't make it on the stream tonight. Dan, Lucas, and Rob trailing behind me at the top. What can I say? It probably won't last so long. Oh! Is that where it starts? Wow. Wow. Oh, that's beautifully hit as well. Beautifully sold, beautifully hit, beautifully executed. Back under the ring. Trish Stratus. Stratisfaction. That's it. Give me the freak out. Done. Beautiful ending, that. Now, where do we go? Is Zoe aligned with Trish, or is she just going into a feud with Becky? I'd like to see her kind of the henchwoman for Trish. That would be cool. Becky's like, what was that? Here we go. We're about to find out. She's with Trish. Oh, busted open. I like it. I like it, everyone. Wow. Great ending. So cleverly done. That referee distracted quite well as well. Not your typical knockdown or all that. Quick move. Boom. Throw her back in under the ring apron. That was so well executed. I love that. Guys, what did you think? Did you enjoy that match? Did you enjoy the ending as much as I clearly did? Not just because I got the point. Trish is staying around, guys. This is going on a bit further, and she's going to be aligned with Zoe. This is what you want. The legends to come back and do stuff like this. Not always as a babyface, sometimes as a heel. I'm loving it. Really, really enjoyed that. Better than I could imagine. I thought Trish would do some healy tactics and shit. This would be extended. But now we're adding in a star that's just come from NXT, bridging that gap. You know what I mean? We've got the 4 horsewomen type era in the middle of the ring. We've got the legend from the Attitude Era, and we've got the newly promoted NXT superstar as well. That's yeah, there's a lot of potential here. I'm really pleased with that. Speaking of which, we've got an advert here for Battleground. That was on last night, right? No, tomorrow night. That's the one. Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes. Now, we won't be covering NXT because on this channel, we'll be building up instead to Double or Nothing. But of course, if anything big happens on NXT Battleground, we'll be sure to report it as well. Looks like a great card. I want to shout out my buddy Andrew Spores. If you haven't already seen his channel, Wrestling Royalty, search Andrew Spores on YouTube. You'll find him there. And I was on his channel last night talking about all of these events taking place over the weekend. So once you're done with Night Champion stuff, if you want to hear my thoughts on NXT Battleground, head over there and listen to us boys talk wrestling. It's been a busy weekend when it comes to wrestling. Now we're getting on to another exciting match. Saudi Arabia, Mustafa Ali, an Asian representative versus Gunther. I think this is going to be the moment. I don't think we're going to get it. I don't think he's going to win it, but I want them to make me believe because I think Gunther should win. I love Mustafa Ali. I think he's fantastic. And I think the way he just constantly makes things work, amazing. But I think this is about making him kind of get to that next level. And I think this could be a great match. There we go. Yeah, Mustafa Ali is saying in the video package here he's not from Saudi Arabia. Of course of Pakistani descent. But a great kind of representation of Asia, you know, and Muslims as well. Of course, there's a big part of this promo here. Is that a connection? Daniel Wiley says Ali's gonna win and Gunther Money in a Bank winner. Whoa, you could be right. That's the interesting thing about this show, isn't it, Daniel? That we've got Money in a Bank coming up, and there are so many scenarios going into that. As you'll know, every year predictions get wild, even in the days leading up to that. So even a month, well, about 5 weeks away from it, it's even kind of more open, isn't it? As far as who could be in the Money in the Bank, who could win it, what could happen here that leads to that. And this is a good thing about, I think, for WWE to highlight this as well. You know, me and Sam were talking about this earlier on. I'm not Muslim. I'm not from Asia or of Asian kind of heritage or anything like that. But it is a community, I guess, that has been misrepresented, I think, in mainstream media and even within WWE. So it's good to see Mustafa Ali be a baby face and show this stuff off. Do you know what I mean? As I think there was an interview a while ago where he was talking about, you know, he doesn't want to be a heel Muslim or a heel Asian or anything like that. So here we go. Ah, man, I feel good. I feel happy for him. What a moment. It doesn't feel forced either because he's been on a bit of a rise. I said the same thing with Zelina last month. Yes, she's from Puerto Rico, but there's a scenario where she's good enough to win the title and be in the main event anyway, so it's believable. And I think the same here with Ali. Yes, he's not been promoted as such, you know, like as far as going towards the IC, but I think we can get behind his journey and we can get behind it lining up here. I don't think he's winning it again, but I'm looking forward to the match. Gunther, I think, is coming away with the title. Daniel, of course, in the comments, once again, thanks, mate, for your contribution to the stream. Disagrees and thinks Ali's going to win. And I hope they're going to make me believe. I don't want him to win. Not tonight. As much as I love Mustafa Ali, I wouldn't be angry, though. I wouldn't be angry. I'd be happy. I would. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know what the end of the Gunther reign is. I just don't think it's this. And I don't think it's now. Positive Ali, of course. I mean, this is the thing, even with that character, he can come out of this looking at things positive Ali and how close he was and all this kind of stuff. You know, they can really run with this. So it's such a good talent as well. And I liked in that promo video, of course, they just wear the free gear they've kind of been given. He was wearing 205 gear, you know, the show that kind of put him on the map almost. Fantastic intro here, as always, for Imperium. I love this intro. I love Imperium. It was nice when there were four of them. A few months ago, I got to chat to two of them and ask about those times when there were four of them and kind of getting back to that. So if you haven't already, when you get the chance, guys, check out my interview with two members of Imperium, Ludwig and Gunther. Like this is cool up until this point. I think he needs his old theme song back. The rest of it, I mean, this one's good as well. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but I like the old one singing along. Anyway, I've seen a comment here as well from Daniel Wiley. Says, "You got any favorite sports other than football or wrestling?" Yeah, of course. We spoke about football, haven't we, a few times, Daniel, on this channel. It's come up a few times. We do have a football channel, so go check that out. The Rebellious Noise football channel. We don't post as much as we do on the wrestling channel. I'll be honest with you, but we're looking to do that in the next few months. Other than that, I Oh, what would I say? other sports. Biggest are wrestling and football for me. If there's a big fight in boxing, I'll watch it. If there's a big fight in MMA, I'll watch it. If the World Cup or the Six Nations are on in rugby, I'll watch it. I just don't follow those sports as much as I do football. Wimbledon every now and then, depending on the story going into it. The Olympics. I'm a big fan of sport overall, but the one I follow the most is football, wrestling, if you want to count that as sports entertainment, and but I guess a casual viewer of most sports, depending on what's going on, and more so, the next tier would be rugby, MMA, and boxing. But I wouldn't say I follow it anywhere near as much as I do football and wrestling. Can't believe Man City won the league. Tell me about it. Yeah, of course, Arsenal fan here, so disappointed. But it is what it is. Hard to compete against Man City, isn't it? Incredible team, club. I could talk about that for a few hours, I'm sure. But the team themselves, fantastic, and it's hard to kind of go up against them. But looking forward to the next season. Of course, it ain't over. Finishes officially tomorrow, of course. But we know City are champions. Arsenal in the Champions League, so I'm excited about that next year. But yeah. Funny thing is, you don't get many crossover, I find, wrestling fans. A lot of wrestling fans don't watch any sports at all sometimes. So, quite interesting there. Speaking of quite interesting, we are going to bring in a co-host here now as well of Lucas. Welcome, Lucas. How you doing, mate?
Guys, you right?
Good, man. Good. It's been a good show. Good show so far.
Yeah. It's already like an hour in though. Only seen 2 matches though. But the first match I felt was incredible, just to get people up to scratch. I guess on my opinions, I guess you both yours. Might want a bit of vocal rest as well, I guess.
Go on, let's go.
So yeah, I thought the first match was incredible between Rollins and Styles. I'm a bit worried though that they've already put that belt in that first spot and not given it, particularly as it's called Night of Champions, not put that on last as it was obviously crowning a new champion. But look, Rollins and Styles are 2 guys we know that are always going to deliver. I felt the bit where he missed the stomp, but stomped his hand was a bit weird.
Very odd.
I felt like maybe Styles was meant to move and didn't move, and then they went for that. But it didn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Saw both guys like kind of hark back to their indie days a little bit. With some of the maneuvers that are obviously being done, but obviously with the guys, well, with AJ in particular being in his 40s, we're seeing obviously a bit more subdued version of that stuff. But it's still incredible how good Styles is, though. Like, for someone who has been doing this so long, like, people forget this, but obviously he was in WCW in the dying days. That's how long he's been doing this. He was signed to WCW, I think, in the 2000, and there's a few matches on Nitro and that for the Cruiserweight Tag Tournament, I believe.
Yeah.
And then obviously
was it Air Paris? Was his tag partner? Was it?
Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, yeah.
One of the final kind of things that WCW did, I guess. But yeah, he's been that long in the business, and obviously he's amazing tenure at TNA, over to New Japan, obviously now being in the WWE. But yeah, like phenomenal match, good way to start the show. I think Rollins was the right winner. I think a lot of people, that's a consensus that Rollins was the right winner. I wish as well that they had maybe left both these guys undrafted or something, because it did feel a bit like, well, we're not going to do a whole draft and then have a SmackDown superstar win this belt. But saying that, the knee injury and that kind of stuff they did in the match, I think that kind of did swing it a bit. We're thinking, actually, Styles might win. And then when Rollins couldn't do it, especially when Rollins couldn't do the stomp as well, could he? At first. So then moving on to the second match, obviously Trish and Becky Lynch. Like not as good as I thought it was going to be. I think the second half was much better. And it's interesting seeing, obviously, where Zoe Stark will go. It seems like she's obviously destined for big things now, just been drafted to the main roster and already working, obviously, alongside Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, which, couldn't be after better company, could you? So it's weird to think she was literally doing NXT, like, barely like a couple of months ago. And now, obviously, at the moment, it seems aligned with a WWE Hall of Famer. And now we find ourselves with Gunther, currently in the ring, with a Boston Crab, second one of the show so far, locked in on Mustafa Ali. This is a really random match, it feels like, isn't it?
Yeah, I was saying, like, I think the idea is, as we said on our predictions show the other day as well, I think he's the Asian representative, and that's not a kind of ticking the boxes thing as well. He's a fantastic wrestler, and he's kind of got new characters he's trying to get over as well. So I think it's great. What I really hope in this is that they make us believe that it could happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Daniel in the comments says, Daniel Wiley has said a few times tonight that he thinks Ali's going to win, and that is because Money in the Bank is where Gunther's going to kind of fall into next. But I don't believe that is the case. But I hope at some stage during this match, start to think, I think Daniel's right. I want to believe. And I think these two guys could pull that off.
I mean, the problem I have with someone like Mustafa Ali is that he's someone who they perpetually kind of given stuff to and taken away. And then we have that whole thing. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, where obviously he asked for his release, didn't he, from the company?
Yeah.
And then obviously it got denied, so he's still working for them.
Yeah, I forgot all about
that. Yeah, then he was brought on TV, and then he was taken off, and then there's all that kind of stuff that's been going on. And obviously some of that stuff is back office stuff, which I guess obviously how this business works. But it just seemed like it's been very stop-start for him, and it's a case of if they want to do something with him, surely like now is a time to show they want to do it. As a guy is more than capable in the ring, more than capable in the ring, and he does have like genuinely like one of like the kind of best kind of backstories and kind of in terms of his family circumstance, with obviously the police and stuff, and obviously as a police officer, and he. And again, we're talking about ticking boxes. I think it's still very important in a company that has to represent the entire world. You forget that we shorten it to WWE, but it is world wrestling entertainment. Those are three things, and he ticks all three of those boxes really.
Yeah,
he's an international superstar who can wrestle very well, and he's quite entertaining. So it's like
that's what you want, mate.
Yeah. I don't think tonight's the night. I mean, he's going blow to blow with Gunther at the moment, which is no easy feat, really, is it? We've seen guys like Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, come out of these matches absolutely like they've been through a war zone.
That's it. There's a lot to live up to with a Gunther match at the moment, isn't there?
It is, because he's got like so many 5-star above matches now, which I know obviously, Meltzer's not exactly the, whatever, but it's still a case of, someone who people listen to opinions of, and someone who, nice chop. But yeah, it feels like he's making the Intercontinental Championship like really big and established and mean something. And now obviously he's on the Raw brand as well. He opens up obviously a new plethora of matches to happen, while Austin Theory is the US champion over on SmackDown. At present.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point there that there's even more reason to keep it on Gunther, because yes, he's had it for a long time, but he's now in a pool of completely different talent. So that kind of solidifies it a bit more for me. Going back to Mustafa Ali though, as Gunther looks to take control, he's reminding me of S.A. Rios here with the red and gold and the slightly red hair as well. So I don't know if that's intentional, but little reminder of S.A. Rios there.
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a throwback to over 20 years ago now. So it's got.
I know, yeah. Some of the viewers are probably thinking, "Who the heck is S.A.?"
The thing is, with something like S.A. Rios though, is that he is linked to, for me, someone who's linked to Lita so much.
Yeah.
And so every time I think about Lita, I think about S.A. Rios, because obviously she was brought in alongside him.
Yeah.
Way back in I think 97, 98, and was having dark matches and matches on Sunday Night Heat. And so, he's someone who I would think about. But oh God, every time I see someone try to throw a strike at Gunther, you just know you're going to get it back.
And there we go, right on cue. Gunther now tries to do a powerbomb as well. Lovely super kick. Oh, look at the spit fly out of Gunther's mouth. So this is it. They're starting to make us believe here a little bit.
I believe you may be about 5 seconds behind me.
Okay. But so we got a tornado DDT and Ali's climbing the top rope.
That. So
make your reactions a second or two after you usually would. But this is Gunther taking control now, though.
Yeah.
Oof.
He just makes things look so easy, Gunther.
Done. Done. You know what? Great match. Great little sequence at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the timing of the show, there wasn't room for it, but I would have loved to have been suckered in a little bit more to believe that Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, I think obviously, well, we had 2 matches in about just over an hour, so I think there's definitely some sort of timing.
Yeah, if this was at WrestleMania, they probably would have the time to tell a story like that. But
this is another reason why, like, obviously, a bit off topic, but we obviously want the kind of recaps and stuff. Obviously, just to clarify, Gunther retained the championship, and with his patented powerbomb, despite a flurry of offense from Ali at the end. But yeah, I mean, obviously WrestleMania. This is what we say about it being 2 nights, like, because obviously you have one night WrestleMania, and you've got like 14 matches. Say, this is where the IC Championship, but sadly back in the day, was either getting cut from the show, or given the 2-minute kind of thing, 2-minute match.
At best, the multi-person match.
Yeah, or
like the ladder, or
match, just go 10 minutes, just do your moves and get out of it. But yeah, we are obviously we're backstage now with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, the Undisputed Tag Team Champions. Obviously, it seems so weird seeing Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, I guess, both in Saudi. And obviously, the political landscape that have changed, obviously, since WWE started doing these events. And it seems Sami Zayn is now welcome in the.
He's going to get a great reaction as well. Did you see much of the press event that they did yesterday?
I've seen bits of it. Yeah, I'm happy that
great reaction there. Of course, last year they were cheering him on before he wasn't even there. So kind of gave us the idea. But remember, a few weeks ago, I mentioned this on the build-up. A few weeks ago, we were sitting on this channel saying, "Well, they've got to take the titles off him because it's going to be all titles on the line, and Sammy's not going to be there." It's just wild to think he is, and
I mean,
well received as well.
We were wrong on 2 things with that. We're also wrong on the fact that they seem to have shifted Night of Champions to every championship to the championship that we remember.
yeah.
United States champion and Austin Theory on the show. Obviously, I know there's a problem at the moment with the women's tag team champions. Those belts are cursed at this point, surely, aren't they? Like, no one can keep them for more than a week, it seems, without an injury. But and obviously we aren't seeing Roman Reigns defend.
Yeah.
Either or the belt. I don't even know anymore. The World Championship situation is getting very complicated now in WWE, because you've got 2 belts on one guy, but they're 1 belt, except when they're not 1 belt and they're 2 belts, and Matt Riddle decides to go for one of them and not both of them.
They're in an identity crisis, because he's just reached 1,000 days, and they're still calling it undisputed, but it's not undisputed anymore because there's another title. They still use the term world heavyweight. They can't use that anymore, but they still have been before.
Because someone pointed out on obviously the WWE Championship, so not the Universal Championship.
Yeah,
it obviously says World Heavyweight Champion because it was the unified belt that
between
was
those
in, I believe, by The Rock, wasn't it?
Well, The Rock brought in a new design, but it was Daniel Bryan that unified them. Because LA Knight in the crowd here, because Daniel Bryan, when he won at WrestleMania, held them both up.
Yeah, he had both belts, didn't he? So it must have been
So here we got LA Knight. Of course, a lot of rumors about him being featured on the show because of how over he was in that press event. It looks like what we might have got was just him being front row, which is better than what they did at WrestleMania. So at least we've kind of progressed a little bit there.
I guess, he gets his pop. He gets to be in front of the audience. Obviously, we're seeing more Make-A-Wish stuff. Obviously, look, I've always said about WWE, like, you can say what you want about their back-of-house stuff, but in terms of charity and in terms of what they give back, like, it's pretty much second to none, isn't it? I think, in many ways, the amount of stuff they do. They announced it's the first ever Make-A-Wish in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which
because that's a good point. But that seemed a little bit out of sync. You're right. That's never happened at any of the other shows in Saudi. So that's really nice to see.
But it looks like we're getting next. Because I'm a little bit ahead. I maybe start and you can have your opinion. We're going to be looking at the Raw Women's Championship match next. So Bianca Belair defends against Asuka. I think they're now going to start the promo package. Yes, they are. Bianca Belair. But Bianca Belair versus Asuka. So this is weird to have kind of a rematch because Bianca Belair defeated Asuka at WrestleMania. She then went on to Backlash and she defeated who did she beat at Backlash? Was she on Backlash?
Oh yeah, she beat Zelina. No, Zelina was the other one, wasn't it? Io, fantastic match as well.
Sorry.
Wasn't to be the time, but
to another like a feud from before, isn't it? Like it's usually the old way was, you know, basically WrestleMania or Backlash became the rematches from WrestleMania, and they swerved us with this Io Sky match, and now we're back in this feud. But I don't know who did you go with prediction wise for this, by the way?
I actually went with Asuka.
Yeah.
And you were the only ones that went for Asuka.
Okay.
I mean, I'm still really torn about Bianca because I still think, like, basically what I was saying is that I feel like WWE probably are aware that this was stale 3 months ago, but they saw the milestone, they couldn't help themselves. But now that the milestone's out of the way, she's got to lose it at some point. So if you don't push Asuka in the way that you looked like you were going to when you brought her back at the Rumble, then what's the point in it? So it feels like the right time. But I'm still not 100% sure it will be.
Yeah, where I'm at with it is it seems that, you know, there's a long list of now long reigns and of long championship reigns in WWE now, and they've obviously ended the tag reign with the Usos just at WrestleMania, but we've still got this long reign. We just saw him defend the championship again. That's another long reign for the IC Championship with Gunther. We've also seen
Daniel can't believe it, by the way. It wasn't to be, Daniel. Gunther retained.
But yeah,
I mean, you're right.
We're getting to the point where you have to see these things end. And I mean, I know there's that kind of point that's been made about them trying to rewrite the history books, but I think it's very difficult with some of this stuff. Like I think Roman, it sounds really weird saying this, they lucked out, but because of COVID, they kind of, you know, we kind of knew they weren't going to do many championship changes. Of the main championship anyway, when there was no fans, and obviously at that point they had several lower card titles that they were happy to kind of, you know, hot potato. And so they lucked out, obviously, Roman then being able to start this bloodline stuff, obviously, throughout COVID, and then leading into kind of retention at WrestleMania, which was unheard of, really, for a heel champion. You know, for many, you know, it always the case at WrestleMania, the heel champion would lose.
Yeah.
But I think that, it has to come to a point where one of these long reigns, these other ones, has to end. And obviously Gunther's not ended, but Bianca Belair, we're approaching, she's already broke the record, we're already over a year in, like I think it's time to move it on. That's what I think.
I mean, a few months ago, every month I was like saying the same thing, and then I was like, it's not happening, is it? We're getting to that milestone. But now that the milestone's out of the way, I feel like it has to happen, you know, as much as I think, you know, all of us on the channel appreciate Bianca Belair's work, and she's been fantastic, and I'm glad she reached that milestone. Thankfully, got to interview her a few months ago, and we were talking about the importance of representation, working with Triple H again in a title reign, of course. But let's be real, Asuka's at a bit of a risky situation at the moment. She needs to be made to look like an actual threat. And Bianca, the fans are turning on her. It's happening. So unless they're going full force into this John Cena Bianca Belair, they need to change something up with her, and it's got to be soon. And there's no one else. Dan was reading out the roster earlier on for SmackDown. Of course, she's the Raw champ on SmackDown, but like, there's not many other kind of directions they can go in unless she's got it for way longer, and maybe she turns into a heel champion. I don't know, but the other thing is Money in the Bank, because I feel like Money in the Bank is best when a heel wins it, but gets a babyface pop by winning it. So, because of the excitement, because they're an appreciated heel, you know, Dolph Ziggler is a great example. So, I could see a scenario where Bianca wins this, Bayley wins the Money in the Bank in London, and then slowly starts edging towards being a babyface, and there's sort of a double turn between the two of those. And Bianca's annoyed that everyone is so happy she lost the title in those kind of circumstances. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she is the new John Cena, and she's going to be. I mean, you look at her WrestleMania entrance. Does that look like someone's turning heel anytime soon?
Yeah, I think the issue they have is the draft in a weird way has made things even messier, because obviously the thing is, they purposely chosen this. You have to remember, they looked at that list and said, "There's a champion who's the Raw Women's Champion. Where do we draft her?" Someone in that room has said SmackDown. And then someone, for another joke, has said, "Okay, the SmackDown Women's Champion. Where do we draft her?" And someone has said, in a serious face, Raw. Like, you know, and then obviously there's these belts, and obviously the tag belts that are obviously, they are brand designated championships. And obviously, fortunately, I guess for them, the tag belts are unified, and so they haven't really got to deal with, having to do this at the moment. But it will become a point if they want to separate these belts, and obviously, where do they go? Like, do they go back to their represented brands? I know, obviously, there's rumors about Triple H. It's always rumors about what Triple H wants. I think Triple H has a set vision for the belts, but I get that obviously changing these things isn't as easy because they are obviously sellable merchandise. You go into any kind of toy store over here, you see replica championship belts for the kids, don't you? Like 20 quid, 30 quid. And they are these designs with the big W and the colours and, women's champion and tag team champion and stuff. So it's very, very difficult to kind of completely change this. But a lot of it is just their own doing because they unified the tag belts last year as they were kind of in a dry well for tag teams, weren't they? And then they've done this women's change without thinking how they're gonna make this make any sense going forward. Because is Asuka also on SmackDown then?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think it's one of those where we're going into it thinking this will sort the problem out. So I think she is. Yeah, I think she might be on SmackDown.
So whoever wins is still going to have that same problem then, which they could have helped by just having someone from the correct brand do this. But do you think though that they're going to merge these belts then?
The problem is this massive reign of we're in both of them. We mentioned it last month, I think, on Backlash that you've got one title in the Raw, which is the longest reigning in the modern era, whatever it is, with Bianca, which is fantastic, like over a year or whatever. And then also on SmackDown, you've got the woman that's won that title to complete her kind of, collect every belt thing. So it'd be weird to change their names. I've heard people saying like, what about WWE Women's and World Heavyweight Women's or World Women's or whatever else, So, because, the women's division's not really ever been categorized in weight. So what if they just go with WWE and World Champion? Maybe they could do that, but then they'd be tempted to call it it was a new lineage, and it's such a messy situation. So maybe merging them is right, but you are stuck with these two unless it's WrestleMania. Like WrestleMania, Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley to merge the titles. That makes a lot of sense, but we ain't anywhere near WrestleMania. SummerSlam, perhaps.
But then you're going into territory where one of the belts, I think the Raw Women's belt, it was a Raw Women's belt, was already called the WWE Women's belt.
Yeah.
Remember before when they did WrestleMania 32, I want to say?
Yeah, when Lita unveiled it. Yeah, and it was...
Lita unveiled it, I think, and then she won it. And then it then became the Raw Women's Championship only after the brand split happened, and it was designated a Raw belt. And then they created the SmackDown Women's Championship, didn't they, later on that year in 2016, almost 7 years ago now. So... It would open up that can of worms, which they've already opened up with the men's version of it, with obviously having the World Heavyweight Championship that we know and love from the 2000s. Hello, Star.
Hey!
Got a third person on the pod.
We had a dog on the build-up. We've got a dog in the build-up, a cat in the watch-along. Who knows what will get the instant reaction? Maybe someone's got a parrot.
But sorry, I lost my train of thought as well.
The titles.
So the World Heavyweight Championship, which obviously already exists as part of the WWE Championship. We've now got the new World Heavyweight Championship, which is meant to be new, but is an inaugural, but it's also continuing the legacy from 10 years ago. But that belt's already with Roman Reigns because it's merged with the WWE Championship.
Yeah. That's
Just bring back the WCW belt next, I guess, isn't it?
Just call it WCW as well, yeah.
WCW.
Why not?
I mean, thing is, I want to obviously give props to Rollins with this though, because Rollins, I've got epic balance perfectly here. My stream is very, very poor, by the way. I've seen only minimal bit parts of this match.
Okay, well, you're not missing much at the moment. We've got Asuka throwing Bianca into the steps by the hair, which is heelish tactic. It will be interesting to see if Bianca starts acting a bit heelish in this as well, but we'll see.
But I mean, surely with the money, thing is with Money in the Bank, I guess, with the merging of the belts, there's probably nothing they can do now that Money in the Bank is imminently around the corner.
They
I
keep
think
walking into these.
their time to
Yeah.
do it was this show.
Yeah.
We had a show called Night of Champions that was
100%.
changed from King and Queen of the Ring as well. So you could have changed it at that point. But obviously
they could have sorted a lot of those problems at this show, but they have. And I still don't know why it's changed names as well. Like, is it simply to crown a new champion, which we've done already in the show, or what? Like, because this could have still been King and Queen of the Ring.
In my opinion, I think that they didn't call it Night of Champions from the get-go because they didn't want people to clock that it would be Roman Reigns' 1,000 days champion, and that obviously he would, before WrestleMania that he would obviously defeat Cody Rhodes and then go on to this date to do the 1,000 days.
Yeah.
So I think it was something along that, but also probably tied in with the fact that how their format is now. Imagine trying to do, with how slow everything moves on this show now because of the adverts and all the kind of other stuff, like trying to do like tournament matches as part of this. Like it'd just be, and having to do 2 lots of them because obviously the men and the women.
Yeah.
Like I think it logistically, wouldn't have worked without having to literally do like 2-3 minute matches kind of thing, the first round. And kind of building up to bigger matches. And then where do you get the other championships on as well, isn't it?
Well, that's it. We still don't know if it would have been, because Crown Jewel had the King in the Ring, and but it was just a final. So they could have done that again, or it could have been a whole PLE. I think if they bring him out, it needs to be a PLE. And maybe Saudi Arabia going there, because the fans don't often get to see this stuff, isn't the place to do it. Maybe it should be somewhere else, in America or something like that. But no, and you always get a big marquee matches in Saudi as well. So
yeah. Like I mean, the international shows, they seem to have a format of how they're doing these things, and I have lolled quite a few times with this triple main event stuff because it just you just know it is because Puerto Rico got a double main event last month, and Saudi are probably a bit butthurt, and they want the biggest show in town. So now it's
eventually there's going to be like 7 matches, and they're like, we've got 7 main events for you tonight.
Each one bigger than the last.
Exactly, it's going to get ridiculous. You do like I was saying on the build up to Dan. Like I understand when you have 2 world titles, one's got to go on first. But that was a problem with this one, that unless it's this whole Seth has to get off and do whatever, which I still don't know if I buy. It's frustrating that a new champion being crowned went on first. But there we go. Anyway, we're now in the women's title matches.
Nice kind of net breaker there by Bianca Belair on the floor. I don't know if I am kind of in sync with you.
I think you're quite a bit in front of me now. Hold on. Yeah, now I'm quite. I might have to refresh. What I'm gonna do though,
something with these streams, man. Like, keep me out for a while, but I am back.
I'm gonna try and come back in. I'm gonna use this time, as soon as you're here with me, mate. I'm gonna use the time to quickly go to the toilet, since I've been on the stream for about 7 hours. It feels like. Are you okay taking the reins for a few minutes?
That's fine. I'll take the reins. I'll keep you updated. So don't forget, guys, to obviously like, share, and subscribe. If you like stuff like this, I'm not able to read comments at the moment, but obviously when Scott returns, if there are any, please let us know what you're feeling, what you're thinking about for the current pay-per-view, obviously Night of Champions. Lots coming up this afternoon, and obviously lots more content on the Rebellious Noise channels, as well as obviously this stuff where we're doing instant reactions, which kind of will lead from this, I guess. Whenever the pay-per-view ends, which hopefully is around 9 p.m. UK time. But yeah, like we're now looking at the Raw Women's Championship. Something I will say, actually, I don't think about people noticed. The attire of the women has grown tenfold, really, because when they first when they first started doing these PLEs, and obviously women were not allowed to compete, and obviously I'm not here to really get involved with the politics of stuff. Obviously, how laws that apply in one country aren't applicable to all. But anyway, they built up to obviously having the women first compete, and the first women's match was at, I believe was it Hell in a Cell, or was it Crown Jewel in 2019? One of the two. Whatever show was in October 2019. They had the women compete, and that was Lacey Evans versus Natalia, and they competed in the kind of standard black morph suits, and I think they had a t-shirt on over the top of those. And the match was obviously a match. It was just very much a TV match. I guess they probably tried to figure out a very precise way of doing these matches so it wouldn't cause offence. But now we're at the stage now where obviously Asuka is able to wear a face paint and is able to have kind of a custom kind of attire that kind of is almost basically like a ring gear. And Bianca Belair's got her love hearts and, you know, bling and that kind of stuff. And so it feels more like them. Like Rebecca Lynch had the Kill Bill suit earlier, with Trish obviously having the Thank You Trish thing emblazoned into the back. But I do think that, yeah, it's nice to see the personality shine through. As at the moment we are watching Bianca Belair on the top rope, about to deliver a suplex, I believe, a suplex. You know, kind of think this spot's overdone, to be honest. Kind of having glad didn't. Oh, nice drop kick there by Asuka. I must say, Asuka, just the gift that keeps on giving, really. But I do agree with what Scott was saying earlier. So obviously, if you what Scott was saying earlier about obviously Asuka, just feel like something's got to happen soon because she's kind of just floating, along with the roster. So do let us know if you agree with us or we disagree. We like having good discussion with you guys. Obviously, loads of great content that we have on this channel. We do cover every WWE pay-per-view or PLE as it's now known. And we do kind of try to do more kind of topical podcasts throughout the year as and when big news breaks. We try to be there to kind of make the most of it. And it honestly, like, every single year, in wrestling, like, I'm just more and more kind of just like in like bemusement about it because you're like, oh, 2 count there. It's weird having a second announce table and B, obviously the Arabic announce table. Scott is back.
Yeah, I tried to refresh and it delayed and went further back.
Oh.
So I'm going to come out of the stream and go right back into it because that completely messed up. So I'm further behind.
Yeah, I find it acts very, very weird with this.
All right, I've got a wide shot of the stadium.
I can't remember seeing that off the top of my head. I'm currently, Bianca Belair's just recounted the Asuka lock and she's going for glam.
Oh, right. I'm still behind then. I'm in the Asuka lock now.
Mine has now just frozen. So, yeah.
Hey, we'll probably sync up again anyway then.
I've got Bianca Belair's ass right on, right in front of my screen.
Oh, yeah, that's where I'm at.
I don't know what, I don't know if it's a TV or it's a stream. I guess maybe it's a bit more complicated to get the stream working from Saudi Arabia potentially, but I've never had a problem before actually saying that. Since I'm back now, Asuka has the hair of Bianca. It's been quite a lot of that actually from what I've seen. Almost every kind of couple of moments, Asuka is continuously going back to Bianca Belair's hair, which...
There was a time where they used that every single PLE, wasn't there? So it's strange that they're going back to it now.
Mm. It's interesting because that's kind of how a lot of people knew of her from NXT, I think, because, if nothing else, like, you kind of just know that she was the one who whipped people with her hair. That was kind of her, that was kind of her
thing. That was a gimmick, yeah.
It's like, is that Nikita Lyons? Like, people know who she is because of, well, reason we probably can't go into on this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Particularly because it's a Saudi show.
Yeah, good point.
But yeah, anyone who knows Nikita Lyons knows that there was one reason why a lot of people were interested in what she was doing. Well,
she did that
very
pin.
Big, voluptuous reasons.
She did the pin and Twitter recognized it. I had a friend who texted me and said I might have to start watching NXT. They don't even watch wrestling anymore, but they saw it on Twitter, and I was like, okay, man.
You know what? It's very interesting because obviously, both of us being wrestling fans and both being older wrestling fans, and obviously, to be fair, what's weird about me and Scott is genuinely we met first talking during lockdown, didn't we? And then we met kind of in person after that. Done like several things with since then together, but we just kind of have a love for wrestling basically, and then that's basically how we kind of got on this kind of stuff. But what's interesting is when you must have these guys as well, like the people who used to watch wrestling, and it's at various periods of their lives. Usually it's the Attitude Era, and it's Stone Cold, Triple H, Undertaker, Kane, Big Show, etc. But then they will randomly mention either when they see you or when they message you, "Oh, I just checked out this match."
I saw this the other day, yeah.
And you're just like, what? Because actively seeing that there are people who are lapsed fans, don't even watch the product at all, couldn't tell you an AEW from a TNA, but would, the minute Stone Cold comes back to do a promo, or the minute, DX are doing another reunion with the same promo over and over again, or the minute so-and-so is going on the Hall of Fame, they're piping up. Oh, okay, that's what happened. So we missed them. We missed it. We missed the missed spot from Asuka. I think she's done that quite a lot now.
I'm still behind. Come on, get up. Oh no, okay, yeah, I see the replay. I see what you're saying now. I didn't even know.
Yeah. Well, I think we literally missed it.
We missed the mist. Okay, got you.
So that's interesting. But so at the moment, Asuka has escaped. Oh, what is she doing? She's got a hand in the mouth. Oh, she's got the mist on her hand. Oh,
throw it. Huh?
Oh, interesting.
Okay, I think she's put it onto her hand. Is she going to rub it in her face? Yeah, okay. Good, Asuka!
Yes. There we are. I was waiting for your reaction with that one. But yeah, just to recap, because we are on different things, we have got a brand new Raw Women's Champion. Scott and I have got a point for that.
Yeah, go ahead, Lucas.
He's still a SmackDown wrestler who's won the championship.
Wow, the reign is over, Lucas. What the heck?
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, I guess from a pay-per-view called Night of Champions, a championship has to change hands. Obviously, we had a new inaugural. Okay. So she didn't. The replay showing now, it seems she didn't use all the mist. She stopped herself, which makes perfect sense.
Mate, that's so clever. So Bianca thought she got away with it.
Yeah.
Mate, that's so cool. I really enjoyed the ending of the Becky Trish match as well, by the way. But I think this one has been very wisely done, especially to end with a heel. Like, this is a different side of Asuka. And it's crazy because we're getting exactly what we predicted, exactly what we wanted. And I'm still like, what the heck? So
I am actually really happy for Asuka, though. I think, But I already said at the start, as I said at the start of this match, I think that one of these long reigns needs to end now, and this was one where you're like, okay, because you have established, I think, that fans are starting to turn on Bianca. Sorry, there is just she needs new competition. Maybe even a break, a month off, come back fresh. But I'm sure obviously we're probably not the last we're going to see of this match though for a while. Could have watched that finish. Obviously my stream was cutting out a little bit, for the start of it, but it definitely got better in that second half. I felt it changed gears. We saw some interesting counters of both the ladies' finishing maneuvers, which is handy, and obviously a very, very unique finish. Very, very unique.
Yeah, very good. What's weird though and a bit unfortunate is that Bianca's still reacting to it, but there's nothing on her face.
Yeah.
The other night at SmackDown, she still had it on her hands, from the week before. So
yeah, they keep showing her, but yeah, bless her. Obviously, I guess you can't see her own face. I'm guessing but they seem to focus more on Asuka now. Your new Raw Women's Champion, who's on the SmackDown brand.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do something, aren't they? Like you said earlier, the Raw could take over the WWE Women's. SmackDown could be the World, the World Women's or something like that.
I mean, you assume they have to do something, but I'm not too sure what at this point. Because I think but for me, because both the champions are on the wrong brand. It's like, while we would think that maybe the Money in the Bank winner could then solve it, because obviously Raw Superstar could just obviously cash in on the Raw Women's Champion and take that belt back to the Raw brand.
Yeah.
We would then have a situation where you have both belts on one brand. And same vice versa.
I think you could easily move Asuka over now, though, couldn't you? Like, Because I think the whole
maybe
thing is
trade.
Bianca being possibly with Montez as well. You know, sometimes you hear they like to do that sort of thing. So
Is Bianca on? Is what brand?
Montez, yeah, Street Profits are both on SmackDown as well. So if
Okay.
anyone's going to move back over, I think this could solve it. Actually, I think Asuka moving over and Rhea losing to the Money in the Bank winner could solve it.
I mean, maybe there could be a trade done. This is why I quite like the original brand split when they did this trade, didn't they? They were happy to trade people. Who was it that time when they traded someone might know, but there was someone who got traded and they took like 4 people from one brand for one person.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was someone that did.
I think it was someone like a Goldberg or like a John Cena or must have been obviously someone with some clout. Oh, okay. We've got Karen Cross and Scarlett.
Looks like they're going into an AJ Styles thing. I haven't seen this. I still haven't got them on screen. Here they come. Oh, they're by the ring. Okay. This is like Clash, isn't it? And I mentioned this earlier in the build-up, where he was just ringside and that was kind of fun as well.
All 3 women's matches back to back. Because sorry to interrupt you, Scott. We are going into another SmackDown Women's Championship.
Wow. Okay. 3. Wait, you're right. 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess they got this deal on the morph suits and. Maybe expires that. Oh. Just like,
they have to return them. They have to return them where they rented them from. Like,
what I was saying while you were gone is that the morph suits is nice that they've able to add their own personalities to them now. Like obviously, when we first started having the women's matches in Saudi, which obviously the politics is something we don't want to get into in this, but we had obviously Natalia was in that first women's match actually, wasn't she, against Lacey Evans?
Yeah, when she wore a t-shirt over.
T-shirt over basically just black, plain black, boring morph suits basically. And now
when it works with a character like Natalia's one here looks wicked.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Both Trish and Becky's ones look really good as well. So, and that last match.
And obviously Asuka had her own personality with her, so did Bianca. So it's a case of like, they're putting a lot of effort into this. Obviously, politics aside, but this definitely feels more like authentic. This kind of stuff. And some of the reactions, by the way, I don't know if you covered it when you was solo, but some of the reactions to the show has been amazing. Like
I thought some of them might have been fake. Like when Trish came out, there was a lot of boos that I weren't sure if they were piped in or not.
Oh, okay. I wasn't talking necessarily about that. But that's something else. But I was talking about some of the replays they've shown, like some of the fans.
Right. Yeah.
Who threw his hat down at the end of the Becky and Trish match. That'll become. That'll be up there with.
It's memeable.
Over the top. I can't move the streak is over, guy.
Yeah.
Because that was quite funny. I felt. But we are seeing Rhea Ripley make her entrance. She is accompanied by Dominic Mysterio. This must be so weird for the Saudi audience, having someone, obviously having a man worshipping his woman, but he's being a bit more relaxed. Is Dom actually?
Yeah.
Because it's like something. I mean, I remember. Do you remember the Greatest Royal Rumble? That was the first Saudi event.
Was that the first one?
Yeah, it was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was the one where it was announced and it was like bigger than WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think everyone just went, everyone went mental on that.
Yeah.
But then the 50-man Rumble. And then I remember when Mike Kanellis, that's how far back we're going now.
Yeah.
Mike Kanellis was in the match and he had the token and now kind of standard, 2-second Rumble entry. And I remember sitting there and thinking, I know the reason. Because they're in Saudi Arabia, and obviously his whole gimmick was that he loves his wife and that he is wanting to do like a role reversal, isn't he? Essentially, he took her name and like he's like worshipping her. They're in Saudi, like it's not. That's literally like the worst thing there.
It's not the gimmick, yeah.
So it's like he had to do like 2 seconds of that Greatest Rumble because otherwise, like you couldn't have him go any further because people were booing when he came out, but not booing because like he's a heel and he's at his job, but booing because the gimmick is just not something that audience obviously wants.
Especially with that audience that they had there as well, because it was a lot. Remember at the front they had those fancy plush chairs, and it was like it was not the real fans either. It weren't even the fans that would like, if they were still there, Sami probably wouldn't be getting cheered. I'm sure some of them are there. Don't get me wrong, but I think the ratio as far as real fans and whatever else has changed.
Dom is keeping his distance quite a lot from Rhea in this. he's kind of there just to
Support.
be there kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, they're allowing the MC in the ring now. He wasn't in the ring for the past couple of matches.
Oh yeah, we didn't have it for the last one. See, this one though, as far as the match goes, you know, again on the predictions and the build-up, been saying that this seems like a foregone conclusion. I think it'd be wild to have Natty win. As much as I like Natty, and I think she is in the perfect role here, where you're playing, you know, filling the gaps and stuff like that. This is about like Rhea is like still one of the biggest things in wrestling, not just WWE, I think, at the moment. So it'd be wild. Something I do want to touch on though is that you said in the group chat, and I went to bring it up then, that you're not a fan of Rhea. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Rhea, Lucas. Where's that come from?
I don't know. I don't think I'm just not a fan. I can't really describe why.
Is that grown? Because I don't feel like you've ever really expressed that before.
I mean, like, I don't dislike her.
Yeah.
But I think she was fine when she was in the lane with the Judgment Day. But I didn't get when people were adamant that she was obviously the favourite to win the Rumble this year.
Yeah.
I kind of just didn't think that she would. And I felt
because I thought the reason why she was so good was stable work, not a solo women's division work. So that's the disconnect.
But that's it as well. Like, I thought that she worked well in the group, like with the Judgment Day. And, you know, like, I get that WWE very much are aware that there is enough of an audience there that exists that kind of want to see, you know, a woman able to do moves on a man. And she always felt like she was put in that, you know, position where she was able to do those bits and pieces. And I felt like, okay, that's basically all she's going to do. But I must admit, some of her in-ring work this year has been much stronger. Well, not much stronger, like much more enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
But I think as well, like, obviously, for a lot of older fans, looks-wise, and we have tried already. Oh, I don't know if you're.
Is it? It's not over, is it? I'm seeing a pin here. It's not over. What was the point? What was the point in that match? Oh my gosh! I didn't think I'd be this annoyed about a match.
I'm not too sure how I feel about that.
Is she injured?
I mean, I guess it was a foregone conclusion anyway. I guess.
Yeah, but like, Dominic keeping his distance here, mate.
Yeah, this will be cut from all future Saudi broadcasts.
Why? Why have they done this? Is it a time thing? That was.
And what have we got left? We've got we've got the tag match, and we've got Cody and Brock.
She's destroyed her.
That's it, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's got to be a time thing. It's got to be. That was weird. Like, yeah, it felt like a foregone conclusion, but that was weird.
Yeah. I think we only got 2 matches left, and I mean, yeah.
Oh, I feel bad for Natty. There weren't much of a show.
I mean, it just does go to show you though that there is just this gulf between the kind of top women and everyone else, sadly. And obviously they spent a lot of time. I mean, Natalia, you know, she had more tag partners in the past couple of years than most people have had hot dinners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of just the result of essentially all this stop start in the women's division for a lot of them that aren't obviously the top people. Well, yeah, but we very quickly after crowning a new Raw Women's Champion in a very competitive match, we have still the same SmackDown Women's Champion. In a match that was not competitive at all.
yeah. Wow, wild. Again, like this is the most obvious one, but I mean they played into it by going, look, we're gonna smash her into the stairs, into the steps, but straight. It must be a time thing. It was probably never gonna be half an hour, but
you think they get at least like 8 minutes, 10 minutes out of it. You know, but then it was. I mean, how long ago was Natty actually SmackDown Women's Champion though? It was like 2017 now, I think. And she was Divas Champion, you know, long before that. We're now going to get an interview with Seth Rollins. the new world heavyweight champion.
Oh wait, I know this must have been filmed earlier though, right? If it is true that he's left, it says live. But...
yeah, I don't know. Obviously, these rumors, if they are true, it would have made sense, I guess, because obviously Becky went on second as well, so it could have been. But I mean, he still might leave after this, I guess. But the thing is, well, people need to know this isn't like abnormal that happens, by the way. Like, several superstars in the past, or wrestlers in the past for WWE and for like other companies, you know, have had agreements that happened. It's just obviously seems that the Saudi shows it's made a big deal, particularly with how Brock has done it in the past.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm assuming that Brock and Cody are probably going to be on next, and then the tag, or yeah,
it's got to be that way. I mean, again, it's one thing not having this title headline; it's another thing to not even use, you know, Bloodline in last.
Not have a match that's not with the champion.
Not champions. Yeah, because I mean, Brock and Cody headline Puerto Rico, didn't they? So that was weird enough as it was.
Did. That was very odd.
So yeah,
but then it's just. I think, obviously, again, us as older fans, like we were so used to growing up with, obviously, at one point, the WWF and WWE Championship being the main event. You know, and then obviously, even in the 2-belt system, you know, you had either the World or the WWE Championship main evented every pay-per-view. But then people quick to point out, like, there was a period, like, before TLC 2013. It seems they are going straight into Cody and Brock now. Straight into after 1,000 promo packages. It does seem that that TLC 2013 when they merged the belts, that was the first time the initial version of the World Heavyweight Championship that it main event in a pay-per-view for 3.5 years. In its first run, it was relegated to that second spot for a very long time. I think really like it was Cena having the WWE Championship, which obviously I think made it the A prize. But yeah, I'm gonna stay with you for a little bit, maybe just into the start of this match. But yeah, I'll clarify what I think about it, I guess, first before I do disappear. I think this seems to be it has to be a middling match. I think Brock's got to get his win back, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I think this will be quite quick.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes and no.
Well, now that we've rushed the last one, maybe not. But that was my initial thoughts going into the show, was that this would be
there is definitely only this and the other match, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, there's 7 matches weren't in total. We've seen IC champion, world champion, the 3 women's matches. Yeah, so this is sitting up match number 6.
And the rumored match order is exactly as it's been as well, by the way. So
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, we're at the stage essentially of I don't know, like are both these matches going half an hour? I don't think so. I don't think Brock's going half an hour.
Nah.
To be fair, Roman has a very, very long entrance, doesn't he? Like
yeah, true. And there'll be a lot of drama around the end of that match, I think, whatever happens. So yeah.
So I mean, maybe that one probably getting at least probably all in like 40 minutes once you include the promo package.
Yeah.
This one might go 10, hopefully. But I wasn't a fan of the angle that they've done on Raw this past week with the breaking the arm thing. I think Cody's done this too many times now.
I think it devalues the real one that we had last year.
Yeah. And I think it's a case of you've got a broken arm, like that. That's that. You know, they've done stuff in the past, like obviously in the Triple H and Shawn Michaels feud, Triple H and Brock Lesnar feud. That also did involve Shawn Michaels breaking his arm though. That was made very clear that Kimura that Brock Lesnar locks in because obviously he is the UFC, Mr. UFC. Like that is legitimate, and that is a arm break that you are out of action for. But if he's able to come back less than a week after, not just the Kimura though, it was the backside attack, wasn't it?
It hit him with the barrels. Yeah, so
yeah, I think that would be, in my opinion, they're actually showing it now. Actually,
yeah.
The beatdown.
I think this is set up to give Cody an excuse to lose. Like the last one was set up for Brock, because I think Cody had to win the last match.
Yeah.
And I think this is the same. And I think Rob made a really good point on the predictions that this could lead to Cody trying to go for Money in the Bank and Brock stopping him, which then could lead on to Brock and Cody at SummerSlam, which I think is probably a good thing because it keeps Cody busy and it's a believable feud. And kind of, I'm not sure about this whole reusing the injury thing again, but it's been pretty good so far. It was interesting to get what's seen on screen is a Triple H kind of factor as well, which who knows if that's going to become part of his story.
But are we going to end up back with Cody and Reigns? Like,
I'm starting to think so.
Is that the end? Yeah. Especially with Roman not having a title defense at this pay-per-view. But with Roman being added to Money in the Bank, that's very, very interesting. Because Money in the Bank is the next.
Who would he face?
And obviously they removed Drew off that, and Drew and Lashley are the two that have kind of escaped Roman. Well, not so much Drew, obviously, but definitely Lashley. And it's a case of, Roman now is like his own spot as well, isn't he? He is the main event spot, and you have to imagine that Roman's match on this pay-per-view at Money in the Bank will most likely be the main event. The Money in the Bank ladder matches most likely come before that. Most likely opening with the women's match and ending the penultimate match, I guess, being the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yeah.
Roman obviously being the last match. I'm kind of with you, or with what Rob said about potentially Brock costing Cody that as well. And I guess they're going to SummerSlam essentially. I guess some sort of stipulation, because Brock's this constant obstacle in Cody's way back to the World Championship, because he could have had his shot, obviously against Rollins and stuff. Brock cost him that. If Brock then cost him Money in the Bank, like that's that as well. That's the other one. Then obviously at SummerSlam they have their rubber match. Well, say rubber match. We haven't seen this one yet. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see where this one goes. But yeah, I'm kind of with Rob on that. That makes probably the best sense. There's no pay-per-view in between, is there? In between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, is there? I don't think.
No, this is it. Yeah, we're only about 5 weeks away now from Money in the Bank. So
I must admit, I'm really enjoying the space between the pay-per-views now.
Well, you say that this has been 2 in the same month. They've both been in May.
Still, there was period, particularly when they had the individual pay-per-views and stuff, where it was 1 every 2 weeks at times. And there are lengthy periods. I think didn't we go from the Rumble Chamber, through to WrestleMania, almost 2 months of that one. And then a month. Yeah,
because there's always that kind of I'll be getting fast lane and all that as well.
We've been tailing of last year as well, though, isn't it? We had Survivor Series as the final pay-per-view, didn't we? Of 2020.
Yeah, no TLC. Yeah, we got rid of day one, which is a shame as well.
Yes and no. I think it kind of ran its course.
TLC.
TLC, yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of the pay, and the fact that obviously the final TLC pay-per-view event ended with a Inferno match. I think that was kind of
that weird dummy being set on fire. Yeah. I felt like a dummy for watching that. What you won't feel like a dummy for watching though is Give Me a Hole. Yeah, as I mentioned a few times tonight, great guys joined us on the build-up show, but also they're doing their own watch-along. We don't usually do watch-alongs on this channel. We find it is a good time to do it on the Saudi shows because we're not half asleep, so it's a nice time to do it. And I've joked around all week about doing a bit of a simulcast, so I appreciate them jumping in on our stream here. And anyone that's watching us in 2 tabs, look at this. I'm gonna attempt to do the simulcast here. Look at this. Ready? There they are. Look at that. Whoa!
Yeah, we should try and get something going with them maybe for a watch-along in the future.
Yeah, exactly. It's always great to work with them. They're great guys jumping on again with the build-ups and stuff like that as well. Another guy that does quite often is Andrew Spores, who's joined us here in the comments, and expect a quick match here. I'm a bit torn now, Andy, because of the last one being quick. And also says There's also no PLE in June, so still balances out. Yeah, so you're right. It was the end of May, sorry, beginning of May, end of May, wasn't it? So it kind of works out. This PLE is probably a week early, and then we've got that kind of build all the way to Money in the Bank being the 1st of July as well. So interesting kind of couple of weeks ahead.
Yeah, and then obviously have they announced it yet? The Australia show they're thinking about doing in September. Obviously,
right, yeah, I heard rumors about that. Is that meant to be September? Is it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
In October, I don't know what it's meant to be October. I Survivor Series in November, but it seems that like they're fully committed. It seems to be doing more international shows. And personally, I think it's the right direction to go. I think that the domestic audience have obviously had a lot of the product. Let's be real. They get house shows. They get all the TV.
They must be annoyed this year, though, man. Like it's happened so quickly. It's not been gradual at all, has it? It's been like we're going everywhere else. But hey, I'm pleased as a Brit. But yeah.
But I do kind of also think that they're looking at, obviously the smoke and mirrors they put up around the WrestleMania attendance numbers, and how they work them to suit what they need it to, like there wasn't 100,000 at WrestleMania, was it 33 or whatever?
Oh, when they had the two together.
Like, but I think they're seeing, there is just domestically anyway, I believe there is just a diminishing return on some of their product because they are, obviously, they've had very big struggles with obviously some of the bad decisions that have been made in the past few years. And also the fact there's now competition. And it means that there's territories where before you go, this crowd will be red hot for WWE. This crowd will sell out easily. And they're struggling. Like the last MSG show, isn't it? Like they're having to do like discounts and all sorts of different things. This match is starting really fast. The way Brock Lesnar throwing around. He's got his arm protected in some sort of sling/cast thing. But I think ultimately they're seeing it as well. Do you do like just standard arenas for shows, in America and get 20,000, or do you do these stadiums around the world and get 40, 50,000 a time? And enough, especially in the Middle East where obviously they're building all these new stadiums with roofs and all that kind of stuff and aircon, and it's kitted out to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, it seems they didn't want to risk doing an outdoor event in Blighty, though, this year.
They didn't want to risk doing a big stadium show with Money in the Bank. It's unbelievable, the kind of clamour for tickets and the amount of people haven't been able to get a hold of, which is a real shame because they definitely could have done a stadium. But I think WWE would have learned a lesson now, seeing as who else has come over here and done a big stadium. I think that'll probably ironically give them a bit of a boost and a bit of fire behind them to maybe book one of the many stadiums that we have here in London, and not just London, but the rest of the UK as well. So they're kind of spot for choice. So it would be good if they did one.
I mean, I think, poor football team, but good stadium. Tottenham Hotspur.
I knew you'd go there, and I agree 100%.
That is probably the best stadium they could get.
Yeah,
like it is obviously, especially in the UK, it's pretty much the most up to date, high tech, bells and whistles, everything. But also, crucially, very good transportation links. Still kind of London, so it's not like it's like a fake London, like some people watching abroad might not know this until you do show up here. If you do show up at London Southend Airport, you ain't in London. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, even Heathrow and Stansted, not really London, are they? But Southend's a bit of a stretch.
Exactly. If you rock up at London Luton Airport and expect you're going to 10 a.m. and think you're going to be in central London at Leicester Square, feeding the pigeons or Trafalgar Square.
Yeah. Ain't happening.
But Tottenham Hotspur Stadium would be, very, very, very much London. It's, only about 20 minutes or so from the main sites and all that kind of stuff. And it ticks a lot of boxes with attendances. They've got the capacity, it's decent there. But it's a case of, it seems that this year they've decided to go another way, and I guess we can always be baffled about their decision, and I guess more of this will come up, I guess, when we obviously do do stuff Money in the Bank closer to the time, as I think a lot of fans would have been really happy to go to it at Wembley, and we were looking forward to it. And but then I guess it didn't happen last year, did it? It didn't happen last year.
Even but Clash, at least that was at a stadium. You know, that was
but everyone was adamant, weren't they, that it would be Wembley. It's 30-year anniversary.
Yeah. I think it's this kind of city's paying for stuff now, isn't it? Where Clash, you know, they put money forward as well in Cardiff, even. But yeah, it does look like this match is going to be a short one. You might be a bit ahead of me, so it could have ended already, but no. Cody's gone for his third crossroads, and it's been countered into Kimura.
Yeah, mine
see coming.
Mine froze at one point, but I am back. He's in the Kimura.
Daniel says, "What has happened?" I don't know when you dipped out, Daniel, what you missed, but we saw an incredible end to the Asuka Bianca Belair match. Asuka, new Raw Women's Champion, and on this one, it's been quite well. Saying that, there was a match in between, weren't there? Natalya and Rhea just was over quickly, very quickly, quite disappointingly. Career-threatening situation, Michael Cole says, is going on here with this Kimura lock. He's got a tap or something. He's trying to do the same thing again. Brock can't fall for it twice. I was also thinking there's a scenario where Brock kind of runs into the cast or something like that, but that makes Brock look dumb twice as well. Yeah,
in my opinion, it's getting a bit silly now, this.
Roll over and no. Do they want Cody to tap, though? This kind of hero that never quits. Do you know what I mean?
He's literally clawing the back of Lesnar. Oh my god, I think he's gonna pass out in the hold.
Oh, the pass out spot. Okay, that's the one. That's the one. You're right. I'm a little bit behind you. I'm seeing the claws at the moment. Yeah, he's out, isn't he?
No. It's somehow still going on.
Is it really? A little bit in front of me, and it looks like I'd be sure Cody was. Oh, one arm. Yeah, okay. Didn't even do the two. Didn't even do the three. Don't like that. Not on the first. That's not right. For a storyline that's really playing into this kind of plucky, I will survive type character, you got to do the classic third.
Yeah, I think this is now going on far too long, like in this hold.
It's got to have an end goal, doesn't it? It's got to be the reason this is the case. Yeah, that's what's cool about it. Like Cody, like he's on top of Cody as well. So close, so close. All right.
Yeah.
Big cheer for him to get it. Brock can't stand for some reason. As if he's been through the wars.
I guess he's setting the whole, applying that much pressure costs him a lot of energy, which I guess it would do.
Yeah.
But he was proper wrenching it. Oh.
Okay, up for the F5, yeah. Oh.
So a crossroads and a kick out.
Okay. Yeah, kick out there. So that's the third crossroads he's done on him.
But then this is the guy we know who swallowed dozens of finishes,
That's the thing. It is the Brock Lesnar type match, ain't it?
Mm.
Which we didn't quite get with the first one. It was a bit more like a regular match. It's got to be Brock, though.
Oh my God.
Yes, he's using a car, so they could do that.
Jesus.
Oh!
He almost topped over at that, but just because he's literally that strong.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I was thinking it could be a cast thing, but that kind of makes Brock look a bit silly.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine if you got the 3 there without pinning him straight away. That would have been a slap in the face.
So now, I don't know if that was the first F5.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay. He's been in the Kimura for a long time. Oh. I'm
still behind. I don't know what's going on.
It's got to be it now.
This is awesome chant. Okay, here we go, Kimura.
Must be terrifying facing Brock, knowing that
he could actually
just
do it.
break your arm.
He could go.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's it.
Okay. All right. You've seen the end. I'm guessing I don't know what it is. For me, it looks like Cody is passing out. Yeah, he's out. Then he only did the one. They didn't do the three. That doesn't make any sense. But it does make sense why he held it on the first one, don't it? So the bell's going mad. Really emphasize it. But that's the right call for me. This feud ain't over, and it shouldn't be either. It's a nice distraction for Cody. He keeps Brock busy as well. So it wasn't the most exciting match, but as we say a lot on this channel, did what it needed to do.
Yeah. It's mental to think the Brock that we used to get versus the Brock we're getting now. I like having Brock at all these events, I must admit. He's someone who's so different to watch. The intensity that he brings is tenfold everyone else on the roster.
Yeah.
And please, WWE, before he retires, which, you kind of plant the seeds, Minneapolis, WrestleMania, a couple of years from now, let's please see him versus Gunther. This intensity, because I personally believe there's never been a wrestler as intense as Brock Lesnar. I think that everything he does looks like it hurts. Like everything, the sheer power that he's able, it's unparalleled. Like, of what he can do, and I think him versus Gunther, that is money. Like anywhere in the world, we have to say the world now because they are taking the first word in their acronym. World
taking it serious now. Yeah,
literally anywhere in the world, people will flock to that match.
Yeah.
And potentially, if next year follows this year, perhaps that's what we could see. Because again, this feud, if it does end at SummerSlam, it will be one that obviously has gone over 3 different countries.
Yeah.
They'll be back in America for SummerSlam. They're in Saudi. They started in Puerto Rico.
Have you seen this ad for Money in the Bank? Very James Bond-like.
Yeah, they're tapping into Bond quite a lot.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. We usually get the royal treatment. I'm glad it's kind of moved on to something else. Still stereotypical, don't get me wrong. But
we've been exhausted this past year, I think, haven't we, with the Queen's funeral and the coronation and
probably bad timing to do
Harry and Meghan and
let's enjoy Bond instead.
Bond's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where I'm going to leave you.
Cool, man. Thank you so much for joining me.
I'll be back for the little review at the end.
Instant review. Yeah, we can see you there. Thanks so much for joining me, mate. You've definitely helped my voice get through these hours as well. Much appreciated, mate. And I'll see you back for the instant reaction in a bit.
No worries. See you in a bit.
See you, man. All right. So, yeah, thanks again to Lucas for joining us. And what we're referring to, of course, before we get into the main event, I'm going to tell you about our next stream, which is the instant reaction. Appreciate everyone that's joined us, not only on the watch along, but also the build-up show that we had earlier on, which is our way to get ourselves and yourselves hyped up for the PLE. I know that is the point of the show, but quite often people go back and watch those on demand because they are, times where we do go in depth with our special guests from the wrestling media, talking about other kind of stories within the wrestling world. You are live on a watch along, but of course, as we said, after this, we are going to have an instant reaction. So our freshest take, not just me, Lucas is coming back, and we're hoping to have a special guest join us as well. So stay tuned for that. It will be pretty much as soon as the stream here ends. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and, turn on notifications and all that good stuff as well. All right. So, Andy joining us again says James Bond theme Money in the Bank. Yeah, I didn't see it coming, Andy. I didn't see it coming, but it kind of makes sense, I guess. But man, does that mean we've got to dress up in suits even when we go? We'll have to figure that out. That whole week, Andy, we'll be dressed in suits apparently. But yeah, of course, now looking outside Jeddah Dome, we've got that beautiful Falcon flying around once again on CGI, and we're about to go into the main event. We've touched on it quite a bit already, but of course the world title didn't close. It opened the event, but we are going to end with arguably the biggest storyline in recent years. So I guess that kind of makes sense. Just frustrating as far as the presentation of the title. But again, there are apparent rumors for that as far as Seth apparently needing to get out of there for other commitments. Don't know if that's true, but I hope it is for the title's sake. Now we're looking at a bit of a look back on the women's tag titles. Very strange that they're putting so much time and focus on this when the match could have been on this show and it's not. Also very strange when we looked at Natalya and Rhea going so ridiculously quickly. Yes, it was a foregone conclusion for most of us as far as who was going to win it. But the fact that they did it so quickly, I thought, surely it's about kind of saving some time here. Apparently not, because I got time to show a promo video about Ronda Rousey. So, I don't know. Unless this is one we're getting in the UK on the network, one of those where Peacock's getting ads at the moment or something like that. But which it might be actually. But anyway, they've only just mentioned the match that she's in, so it appears to be linked to that. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's joined us so far, because we're about to go into the main event. Thank you for watching the show with us. Really do hope that you've enjoyed the company we've been giving you as far as mine and Lucas's analysis. And earlier on, again, with the build-up show, and having our guests from the Give Me a Whole Year stream, of course, doing their own watch-along at this very moment in time as well. So we appreciate anyone that's kind of flipping between the two, like it was in the Monday Night Wars. But this ain't a war. It's friendly fire over here between us. Big fans of what they do over there. So yeah, next up we'll have the instant reaction. Before that, we've got to see this final match, of course, to be able to react to it. One I'm looking forward to because I think it's got a lot of storyline purpose and still. It's reignited this Bloodline storyline, and it'll be interesting to see where we go with it. I am a bit concerned that we might end up seeing Roman Reigns leave with more titles, which again, you would have told me that any other time, I would have probably been like, yeah, it's great, that'd be funny, let's see. But because of what's happened to the World Heavyweight title, because of its kind of need to exist, it would be a bit of a slap in the face if you then won more titles. So unless it is massively beneficial to the storyline, I don't think he should be winning it. So we'll see where it goes, and we might not find out the reason for it if he does win it tonight. Not just him, of course, Solo. That would be incredible. Don't get me wrong. First title for Solo to win as well, on the main roster, of course. So, yeah. Right, here we go. Almost at ringside. I mentioned earlier on, we saw him in a Money in the Bank promo video. So you'd imagine he's going to have a role to play there. I like this, though. Show these guys. Oh, scary. Hand going over the screen. Give him something to do. Andy says, sooner WWE leaves Peacock, the quicker we get rid of these long video packages so they can have ads in the US. Yeah, it's a good point. We never had it until they went to Peacock, did they? So it is a bit frustrating. Sometimes I enjoy them, but when they're the same old ones, it does get a bit of a pain, don't it? So we're seeing on the screen right now qualifying matches. We're on the road to Money in a Bank here in London. It's getting exciting, guys. Stick with us on this channel, and we'll be covering it in depth as well. Hopefully going to get some access to be able to bring you some exclusive content as well. But either way, we're going to be in and around London, of course, and hopefully meeting some of you guys. It'd be lovely to kind of bump into anyone that is coming to London for the Money in the Bank PLE as well. Roman Reigns celebrating 1,000 days as of today. And of course, going on SmackDown, we're going to have that celebration. And I think depending on what we see tonight, that celebration could go one of many, many ways. So me and Sam talked about that quite in depth on the build-up show. And again, thank you for everyone that joined us on that. But it's now time to get into they've even put on the graphic, guys, triple main event. What a load of old crap. Sorry, but I'm not a fan of pretending something is a main event. You know, like I said earlier on with Lucas, are we going to get to the point where 7 matches and they're all main events? Come on, let's be real. It's one thing doing it for WrestleMania. It's another thing doing it here. All right, so what we're going to do is as this final promo comes on for this match, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to quickly rush to the toilet. In that time, though, guys, I'm going to give you something to watch. Of course, you've got the PLE itself in the background to watch as well. But we will be back in a moment. I'm going to leave you with, I guess, a little promo about our own channel as well. So we'll see you back here in just a moment.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action. Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.
All right. Did you like that, everyone? Reasons, hopefully, to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're here for the 78th time and you ain't subscribed, come on. Give us a little smash of that button, as they say on the old YouTubes. If you are a fan of other social media platforms, we'll meet you there as well, guys. If you're watching on Twitter, we appreciate that at RM Pro Wrestling. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and Rebellious Noise as a whole has a page on Facebook. If you're not already following us there, please do. Thank you so much to everyone that's joined us, whether it's live or on demand. Really, really do appreciate it. Andy says, do you remember the triple threat main event at Fully Loaded? Is that Kurt Angle, The Rock, and Triple H? I feel like Fully Loaded reminds me of Kurt Angle. I don't know why. We didn't get many Fully Loaded, did we? Maybe 2 or 3. Is that the one you're talking about, Andy? Am I making that up? Did Undertaker do something Fully Loaded? Was that the time that he wore those weird snakeskin trousers? Fully Loaded. I'm not sure. Fully Loaded these days reminds me of a hot dog or a burger or some chips. You could probably tell. I haven't had dinner yet. But we're about to eat good in this next match. Streaming on your own is fun, guys. Here we go. So we've got Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. If you've been joining me over the weekend, not only on this channel with the build-up, but also on Andy's channel, of course, he's been commenting, as well. Andrew Spores, Wrestling Royalty, and also on Gimme a Whole Year. We've stumbled into calling Roman and Solo Rolo, thanks to Sam Smith, who was on our build-up show earlier on as well. So if you would indulge me further, I would appreciate that. Rolo is the name of this tag team. And here he is with his 2 titles, of course. 1,000 days. And it is a shame they're not I know, like, if the PLE was yesterday and that 3 count hit and he reached 1,000 because there was not going to be another match on the 999 day, what a moment that would have been. But they could have at least done something here where he's 1,000, but does he get beyond 1,000? Could have been what they did, but they're not. They're having him go after new titles, something he's not held at all. Definitely not the Raw and SmackDown ones. Was he ever tag champ with someone in the Shield? I can't quite remember. Did they do the free? I remember Seth and he must have been tag champ within the Shield. I remember Seth and Dean holding the titles, but I can't remember if Roman was part of that as well. Andy Taker versus Angle. That's the one with the snakeskin, right? Oh, that now I get what you're saying. Triple main event. You said triple threat main event. You confused me, Andy. Triple H versus Y2J Last Man Standing. Fantastic match as well. Rock versus He Shall Not Be Named. Okay, now I get you. Yeah, the triple main event. Is that how they branded that? Wow. I didn't remember that. But if I'm looking at it in hindsight, I only remember 2 of those matches. And that's Taker because he's funky trousers. Hunter and Hunter and Jericho, because that's the one I think at the time I felt like was the main event, because the Last Man Standing. I don't really remember the Rock match against. Maybe I can't remember. Top of my head. I've got an update here. Dan has sent me. Going into the main event, this is how the scores are. I'm on 13 points. Dan is on 10. Lucas on 9 and Robin 7. Robin's had a bad day, it seems, when it comes to the predictions. But the official scores before they're locked in look like this. 7 for me, 6 for Dan, 5 for Lucas, 4 for Rob. So Rob's gained a few at least. But, mate, I'm feeling good. I've done all right here. Hopefully I'll be getting the title back this season. Of course, if you're new here, the way we do things is WrestleMania to WrestleMania. We see it as a season and we do our predictions. Of course, it's not just me usually on this channel. You saw Lucas earlier on. Dan was on the build-up. Rob is usually my right-hand man as far as being on streams, but unfortunately, he's had a few things going on today and he's not been able to join. But much love to my guys there. And hey, I can say that because I'm sitting pretty at the top. Talking about sitting pretty at the top, we got Roman Reigns, of course. As I say, double champ. Is he about to become a quadruple champ again? Because this isn't just one title is going through, is it, guys? It's a double title in itself. So it'll be wild if he leaves holding all 4. Solo looks like an afterthought here. It doesn't feel like a team because it's not, is it? It's that's I guess kind of the point. But it'd be interesting to see if the Usos are part of this. I've touched on throughout the past few days. I think the Usos are going to cost them. Maybe not on purpose. Maybe look unintentional. And then maybe in the future reveal that it was on purpose or just always be seen as an unintentional thing that Roman gets annoyed about. But in storyline, they're not there. If you remember on SmackDown, they were like, yeah, see you next week. So it'd be interesting if they even show up because that will disobey Roman and annoy him as well. Dan has said I'm 100% on both shots. I was shocked. I was 100% last. I think that deserves a bonus point. We've never discussed this. All right, it's a bit late for us now, but 100% on Backlash and 100% on this would be incredible. I mean, I have to be right in KO and Sami win, so now I really want them to win. But I'm starting to feel like Roman Reigns here. I'm undefeated, guys. It's not going to be the case going forward. Don't get me wrong. Even if I get a clean sweep for this one, going to the next PLE, there's no way. There's no way I can get every single match right for the whole year. Is there? Maybe I'm inside. Maybe I've got the booker's phone number. Right. Time for Sami and Kevin Owens. Again, a massive moment here, guys. Sami Zayn about to come out to a huge ovation, I'm sure. Press release, we saw that last year in the one that he wasn't even there for, the Logan Paul one. There was a lot of love for him. So this is going to be a fantastic moment. Of course, when Lucas was on earlier, I realized my stream was a little bit behind his. So if mine is behind yours, I apologize. You might see something exciting happen and I react to it 5 seconds later, but that's the nature of doing a live stream. Huge. Let's go. Let's go indeed. What a pop. Ah, look at that as well. That's beautiful, isn't it? Traditional kind of, I guess, Middle Eastern attire. That's a nice little touch. This is such a big moment. I think it's beyond what we're looking at here. Like, Sami Zayn has had, like, I think he'll tell you this. Like, you can't fantasy book a personal journey better than this one, I think. Yeah, if he won the title, the main title, maybe. But look at this. If you would have said 2 years ago, Sami Zayn is going to walk out in Saudi Arabia to a chorus of people singing his old theme song as he wears 2 tag titles going into a match against the people he's had, not just the storyline of his career, but one of the best storylines in WWE history. It's what dreams are made of, guys. And this is why you love to be a pro wrestling fan, isn't it? Daniel says, why was Sami not allowed in Saudi Arabia? I called it there. My goodness. I'm trying to promote stuff already for you, Sami. You got a new t-shirt. Yeah, so it's a political thing, Daniel. It's a bit of a difficult thing to kind of touch on. I'll be transparent. I'm not fully aware of all the ins and outs of it, so I don't want to kind of misspeak here. But yeah, a clash, if you will, between Sami's heritage, country of heritage, I guess, of Syria and Saudi Arabia, not on good terms. I'll put it that way. And it was put across like Sami didn't want to be there at times, and also that lovely to hear the Saudi fans go along with Paul's intro, but also, yeah, not able to get into the country. So now we're there, and again, even a few weeks ago, we were saying on this very channel, it ain't happening. He's losing the titles; they can't go there, and things have changed very fast. So I'm pleased to see it. But this is what wrestling's about. I mean, WWE haven't caused a truce between those countries or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But we have seen boundaries and things kind of change in the women's division and stuff like that. Are we where we should be? No. Are we getting there? I think so. So, nice. It's cool seeing all these titles in the ring now. No, Paul, you can't say undisputed and you can't say heavyweight anymore. I'm sorry. What are they doing? Something's got to give. Right. Anyway, that's another conversation for another day, or earlier today, because we went in depth on it in the build-up show. Again, if you haven't seen it already, please check it out. Not only are we previewing this, of course, we went in depth on some of the kind of biggest talking points. Okay. Sami's got a mic. Maybe. Wow. I'm not fluent, so I'm assuming he's talking Arabic here. What a moment as well. Because I think this is a side of Sami Zayn that's not been explored that much until, ironically, talking about this sort of stuff and his heritage in Syria. So it's a nice touch. Because while there are these differences somewhat, I guess, well, I say somewhat, I don't want to downplay it, culturally and all this stuff between these countries, as we said earlier on with Mustafa Ali, a great representation as well of, the Middle East and Asia as a continent and the middle grounds here. It's the same as when people, like, we're different in England to the Scots, to the Irish, or even the French. But when I go overseas and I bump into someone from Amsterdam, I feel like I have something in common with them because we're European. And when I go overseas and I bump into someone from Glasgow, I feel, you know what I mean? So, like, there are still these common things that unite us on continents, but also make us different, and of course do cause some friction at time. But it's nice to see it kind of encouraged here. Sami Zayn being able to embrace that side. The Canadian side was embraced from Montreal. And that was incredible. But for Sami to be able to do this must feel really, really nice. But anyway, get on to the action itself. Looking forward to this match. I think it's going to be theatre. It's going to be one of those matches. And the ending of it, it's got to involve the Usos. I don't know how it can't. All right, here we go. But guys, let us know what you thought of the PLE so far, whether it be live or if you're watching on demand. Drop a comment. We'd love to hear what you think of the show. What do you think of our show? Hope you've enjoyed it. Seen a few of our kind of regulars pop in on the chat, which has been amazing. I say regulars usually for other streams because we don't usually do watch alongs, as I've mentioned before, but I'm so glad you've joined us for this as well. Looks like Kevin wants Sami in here. There we go. It's wild, ain't it? Again, a few years ago. Not just this moment in Saudi, but this moment for Sami overall. You could put him in any audience at the moment who haven't seen him for a while and whatever else. When he comes to London, he'll get the same love, you know? So there's that as well. You know, this kind of rise of Sami Zayn. I think ever since that incredible match, and I know it sounds weird to say, but an incredible match with Johnny Knoxville, I think he's had, you know, an amazing year and a bit now, of course, but Roman saying they wouldn't know who you are without me. And just like their chamber match as well, it's a nice little bit of kind of synergy with real life in the sense that Roman was asked ages ago, who would you like to work with on the roster? And he was like, Sami Zayn, before anyone saw where this was going. And it's got to be nice for Roman Reigns or the person behind Roman Reigns, you know, Joe, to be experiencing this as well and be a part of it. We've done nothing already. It's about 10 minutes in and like not much has happened, but I'm still entertained. Heyman looks a little bit sus there, doesn't he? He feels like he's aware that Roman's kind of losing his grip a little bit there. Yeah, as Michael Cole kind of hinted to it there. Heyman did nothing there. And that's what I love about this story. The little kind of tiny details. So just a reminder of our predictions from the other guys on the channel as well. All of us went for KO and Sami, but we do something on our predictions on the channel, which is a bonus point where exactly as it sounds, you get a bonus point if you're right, but you lose a point. Not only, sorry about that, not only gain, do you not gain a point if you get it wrong, of course, but you lose a point as well if you get it wrong. That rarely happens because no one wants to lose a point. It's a risky move. It rarely happens twice. Well, I don't think it's ever happened twice in one show, maybe. But what's definitely never happened is that 3 of us out of 4 of us have bonus pointed the same match here tonight as well. We've all said that the Usos will cost the Bloodline the match. Oh, is that going to affect my clean sweep? If I get it right with Sami and Zayn win, but the Usos don't cost them, I've risked that as well. Because I could win, get all the predictions right, but I've kind of ruined it by doing that. But then again, it could be correct. I think the Usos got to be there. They've got to do something. But it could be helping, which would be wild, wouldn't it? One of the greatest tag teams of all time, allowing someone else to take the tag titles. Sludge Sport says, is the PPV over? It's not, Sludge. We are in the last match, mate. We are kind of in the kind of opening stages still, I would say, because it's been about 10 minutes of acting up to the crowd. But we never got Kevin Owens and Solo going at each other. So we are 2 hours and 50 minutes into the show itself. Interesting to see the time on the event overall, because the last few years have been all over the place, really. We've had 4-hour shows. Some of them have only been 3 hours. So this looks like it's going to end on about 3.5, if anything, 3:20 maybe. Of course, straight after this, we'll be back for the instant reaction. So please stick with us on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel for a review of the event overall. I think the argument for them to win, though, is that the Usos could, and I don't think this is where they're going or where they should go, especially at the moment, but the Usos versus these two kind of makes sense as a storyline in itself, you know? So the Usos going against their former Bloodline buddies. But then whatever happens tonight, again, has to be acknowledged in the celebration, and a straight up, we were screwed by the Usos isn't the way to do it. I think it's going to be quite reminiscent of Sami's trial on Raw 30, as I mentioned earlier on to Sam when we were doing our build-up show. And, where the Usos are part of it. And then just like, again, a few weeks ago in WrestleMania, where Roman goes, oh, what, you think I forgot about what you did? Yeah, when you hear a number like that, 3 years, unbelievable. This is where they're lucky they had 2 titles for the most of it, and they were separate for the most part, but now 3 world titles. Ooh, threatening the ref there. Suplex. Bit of a slow match so far. It took a while to get started, of course. Solo and Kevin going out quite fast, but slowed the match now that we've got Roman involved. And that's kind of the format, not just for a Roman Reigns match, of course, but for a WWE main event. So nothing out of the ordinary in that sense so far. But of course, I expect it to pick up kind of very quickly towards the end, and nice measure of storytelling as well. I'm sure we're going to get with the Usos. Roman says, you think you're the nature boy now because of the chop? KO trying to even things up on the outside, of course. Roman really playing up to the crowd. Roman sucks chant there. So, seeing as things are a bit slow at the moment, I guess I'll give some general thoughts on the show so far. Of course, we're going to be back after this on our instant reactions, so would love it if you join me. I'm going to be with some special guests again, talking about the show itself. But I've enjoyed it. It's been a good PLE. One I'm glad we've been able to do a watch along for. So glad you've been able to stay with us tonight as well. Highlight so far for me, the end of the Trish Becky match. Really enjoyed that. Asuka winning the title. What a shock. Even though I predicted it, I still was very shocked. But every match is kind of impressed. I mean, Rhea Ripley and Natalia didn't have much chance to, but guess that was their instruction. They did what they needed to do, and there goes that one. Brock and Cody, exactly what we expected. But this match here started out quite slow. Hopefully it picks up soon because, you know, I want something to talk about. Appreciate everyone that's been live with me since 3 o'clock. It's now hitting me that I've been live essentially for 6 hours on the 2 different streams. Of course, I had a 10-minute break for a packet of crisps earlier on before we came into the watch along. But thank you again to anyone that's joined us there and joined us again on this stream as well. Sami now trying to crawl over to Kevin. Solo's having none of it. Super kick to Owens. Sort that guy out on the apron. Interesting as well that Sami is wearing, Solo is wearing a Bloodline attire, like these shorts. Do they usually say Bloodline? I don't remember that being the case before. Maybe it is, but of course he's fully representing the Bloodline here in a tag match. Tornado DDT there from Sami Zayn, who's hopefully looking to meet his buddy on the edge, who's barely making his way up. He's got there though. Now, does the ending involve Kevin or does it involve Sami? You know, depends who's getting pinned, I guess. I think the big story is Sami pinning Roman, but it's still so risky for Roman to be pinned, I think. Even though it will be a nice moment, as Rob said on our prediction show, for Sami to get the win on Roman. Yeah, I think it might be too much of an ask. Daniel says, who do you think will dethrone Roman? It's Daniel. It's a hard one. We've had, 3 years of kind of trying to figure it out and thinking, this guy, someone's ready. And I talked on the build-up show about, maybe it's Solo. But at the moment, I've started to come around to the idea that it might be Cody at WrestleMania. Tying up both stories, the Bloodline one falling apart before that, and then Cody ending the story as it's been said. Because other than that, like Sami Zayn felt like an incredible opportunity, but there was a bigger story, which we thought was Cody at the time, but it's not. It wasn't then, at least. Pop-up powerbomb doesn't quite work, of course, with Kevin Owens. I think Jay will win one title and Jimmy will win the other one. Wow, that's a big call. You know what? I thought there was a time where it could have been Jay. I think it would be crazy if they did that now. I don't think they're separating the titles. If anything, they're gonna merge them even closer together. I think there'll be one title soon. Then again, I've been kind of saying that for a long time, so I don't know. But out of two of them, I think Jay is more likely to do it. But I think the most likely now at the Bloodline is probably Solo. But I think they're separate stories, I think the Bloodline imploding is one thing, him losing his title is another. They can play into each other, but we shouldn't waste them, It's like when the streak match also had the title, or the Legends match, the Legend Dream match always, has a title at WrestleMania. It's not the way I like seeing things. KO kicks out of a Superman punch there from Roman Reigns. So it's really starting to heat up now. Still a bit of a slow kind of burn here, but we're getting the big moves coming in. So yeah, Daniel, I don't think it will be a Bloodline member, but I wouldn't be surprised, I guess. I think it somehow will go back to Cody next year. Because I think as me and Sam spoke about on the build-up show, and again, if you guys haven't seen it already, we kind of fantasy booked this whole potential. How do you get Cody to WrestleMania without getting bored of him? And how do you get a Bloodline storyline going on that long without getting bored of it as well? So I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't already, because there is a way to do both, but there is a way to make both of them get very stale very quickly, and that's the fear. Okay. The big ooh from Reigns into a kick and a stunner. Bounces back for a spear, though. Lovely little sequence there. Interesting camera angle there. So then Sami coming in together. Surely it's time for Sami to kind of get the shine here. Oh, lovely little springboard back there. Like the national bird, the falcon, says Michael Cole. I'm not sure about that, but lovely move though. Look at that. That replay is beautiful. This is where it's getting interesting because Sami's clearly in control now, and I feel like we're getting to the climax soon. And usually that would imply that it's going to go in the opposite direction. But that's not what I'm predicting. I'm predicting it will be Sami and KO. Looks like Sami's setting us up for a haluva kick. Ooh. Super kick. Spike setting up. Sami says no. Ooh. Exploder into the turnbuckle. Sami now going for the haluva. So this has got to be where it looks like Sami's going to do it. Roman says no. Not happening. Not happening. So this is where you get the dynamic shift, hopefully. Where it looks like Roman and Solo get back in control. The Usos come in, cost them the match. Boom, boom, boom. We'll see. Oh, okay. Maybe Roman's anger gets too much of him. They call the match off. That's the new kind of... He's not the legal man either, as Michael Cole says. So get out the ring. Like, you got 5 seconds, mate. Why they made a point of that as well. Okay, ref nearly gets knocked. Roman spears the ref. All right, here we go. What's going on, guys? What are we getting? What are we getting? The Usos, perfect chance to come out and make it look like you're trying to help. Oh, Roman trying to get him up. Ref's gone to sleep. Sami's setting up for a Superman punch. Oh, and he hits it. And this is where the ref should have counted, but he's down. But Sami ain't even going for the pin. Oh, he waits. He wants the haluva. Okay. Okay. Ooh, I didn't expect that. Into a Superman punch. That was great. Oh, okay. Now Kevin Owens hits the spear of Roman. I didn't expect the ooh from Sami Zayn. Right, now Kevin's looks like Kevin Owens looks like he wants to start using the announce tables. Oh, here we go. Here's the Usos. Here we go. Right. So is this not a DQ though? Oh, there's no official. Okay, yeah. Right. Right. Now they're actively helping the Bloodline. So then they're not actively going to turn. If it happens, it will be a mistake. But at the moment, it looks like they're actually going to help them win, which is crazy because Jimmy barely wanted to give over the titles kind of as a picture rather than the actual job of doing it. So it's crazy that he'd help him now. There we go! Super kick to Solo. Reigns is confused. They've made a mistake. Can we just get the pin over and done with so I get my points? Okay, okay. And yeah, this is the thing. Roman said, don't cut. Like, I'll see you next week. Okay, now they might actually hurt him. They might be like, well, don't hit. Jimmy's going to hit him from behind, surely. But that would be so weird if this is the moment where like they really actively hit Roman. Like on purpose. There ain't no day one, Roman saying. Oh, super kick! Oh, look at his face. It's not an accident. It's not an accident. Jay ain't sure. Jay's got to do it now as well. What are you doing? And then do it as well. Jay, do it as well. Do it as well. Jay, do it as well. Do it as well, Jay. Jimmy stopping Jay now. Yeah, what you should have done, he says. Jay's going to do it. Jay's going to hit him again. No, Jimmy hits him again. He's straight up. The bloodline is dead. The bloodline is over. Oh my God, Jimmy's like, it's me and you now. Why Jay? This is what's weird because Jay was the one unsure 2 months ago. Is Jay gonna hit Jimmy? We gotta go. I like that. This ain't wrestling. This is Hollywood. That's what's been so good about Bloodline. Sorry. This is we gotta go. We gotta get out of here. But it'd be mad if they did this and they still win it. So I think the Bloodline got to lose. I hope so because of my points. Where's Sami Zayn and Kevin? Solo's on his own. This is the perfect time for Solo just to kind of be lost and take it because what's happened? Hit him with a stunner. This is it. Oi! And Sami get the pin. Oh, there's no ref. Here we go. Done. Wow. Wow. So I'm shocked they actually pulled the trigger on it, actively hurting Roman Reigns. I thought it was going to be an accident. I didn't think tonight was the night, but man, that was very well done. They've progressed the story, which is all you can ask. I'm very excited to see where it goes next. We're not ending the reign of Kevin and Sami. Great moment for them in Saudi. The turmoil between the bloodline. This is great. This is great storytelling. Wow. As the bloodline imploded, Michael Cole says. Wow. What did you guys think of that? Big moment. A few big moments tonight, but this one. What's the 1,000-day celebration going to be like now? Talking of celebrations, guys, we're going to be back in a bit with our instant reaction. It's going to be a celebration of all things Night Champions because I think it's been a great PLE to enjoy as well. Yeah, so we're going to get going in just a bit, but kind of wrapping up here as the show starts going off the air. We will be back in a bit, but we're seeing the replays now. I'm going to be joined by Andy Spores. Of course, you've seen him a few times on the channel. He'll be joining us for the instant reaction. Hopefully, we're going to get Lucas back as well. But wow, what an end! A big end to this show. A very big end to this show. Sludge spot. So, Sludge, if you missed it, it weren't Roman. It weren't Roman. It was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And Roman and Solo were cost the match by the Usos intentionally. It didn't start out that way. They came out there to and look at that shot. Roman looking up, almost in tears, as Sami Zayn holds up 2 titles, thinking, I'm be the good guy, and this is what you get. It's a beautiful story, as Sam mentioned earlier on the build-up. You know, this is story of morality and whatever else. This is great. This is great TV. You want him, you can't have him, says Sami. But yeah, Roman Reigns doesn't win. He doesn't come away with 4 titles. SmackDown's going to be good, and that's all we want coming out of a PLE, ain't it, guys? You know, I want to watch the next one. I want to watch the next show. Don't worry, Roman, you still got 2 titles there, which he is going to latch onto, I'm sure. Wow. Okay, so now we're going to have a little wrap up here on the main feed. I think that's time to wrap up this stream as well. Thank you, everyone that's joined me live, and anyone that joins the demand, whether you're catching the show tomorrow and you want a companion, or you are catching the show in about 5-10 years because this is a show you're kind of rewatching or something like that, or you never got around seeing it at the time. We appreciate you, everyone that's joined us in the comments. Thank you so much. And again, to those that are watching on demand, would love to hear what you have to think of the show as well. We want to hear more in depth as well from those that have been with us live. We're going to be right back here on this channel in a moment for the instant reaction stream as well. Again, I'm going to be joined by Andy Spores, friend of the channel, and hopefully Lucas as well. So thank you so much for joining me tonight so far on the build-up. Now on the watch along, it's been a fantastic show. We're going to come back in a few moments for the instant reaction. And again, it's going to be our kind of take on things as they are fresh and kind of just complete as far as Night of Champions goes as well. So I've been Scott, and well, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys in a few moments on this very channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Pick up our next stream. You'll find it on our channel page, RM Pro Wrestling. See you guys in a little bit.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.